It's NASCAR Cup Series racing from Michigan, the Firekeepers Casino 400. As we take a look at the cars rolling around the racetrack, the playoff standings after 20 races, this means just 6 races to go until the playoffs. Everybody in yellow on the left side, they have clinched a berth in the playoffs. On the right side of the screen, anybody 16th and above, right now they're in, but they're still fighting for one of those playoff spots. Alongside Steve Letarte, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Burton will be joining us. He just got done with the race there at Road America. But Steve, this is a short race. It's a doubleheader weekend here at Michigan. What can we expect today?
Yeah, normally we see 200 laps of racing once over the course of a weekend. This weekend, a couple 156 lap events. That means everything is condensed. The pressure's turned up. You just mentioned 6 races from now, the playoff field will be set. Well, in 40 laps, points will be awarded. These stages are short. The intensity will have to be high right from the get-go. I love these doubleheader weekends. The shorter races really turns up the pressure. And
Steve, a new rule implemented by NASCAR that will be here at this race, the choose rule. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so basically the concept is simple. You can choose either the inside or the outside lane at this triangle once you get past the start-finish line. You got to be careful. If you hit the orange box, it's a penalty. So before you get to that, NASCAR will say choose. You go high, you go low. So, Junior, my question is, as a crew chief, I think I like this. It gives my opportunity for my driver to pick the right line. As a driver, though, what kind of pressure does it pose to you?
Well, you get to, decide what line you want to start in. At a track like Bristol, there was a lot of different decisions on where they wanted to be depending on the cars they were behind. But here you see it at the All-Star race, that mark on the racetrack, that little square right there. You can't touch that. If you touch that, you've got to go to the tail end of the longest line. So before you get to this diamond here, you've got to make a decision, inside lane or outside lane. There's a preferred groove. At Michigan, it's probably going to be the high side. Guys are going to want to be in that outside line. But if 4 or 5 guys choose that in front of you, then you could go and move 4 lanes up on the inside line. It's just a risk you got to take, and it'll be fun to see what these guys do.
And right now they're coming down pit road because there hasn't been any practice. There's been no qualifying, so they don't know what pit road speed is until they come down pit road. So they're checking that pit road speed right now.
Just checking all their gauges. You know, they all use lights, a graduated lighting system from yellow to green lights. And you think you guess right? But you want to make sure that everything works out. Something they normally do through practice, as you mentioned.
All right, we want to take a look at the starting grid. We're seeing the cars rolling down, and they'll go 2 by 2. We'll also look at them 2 by 2. Logano and Hamlin, again, I mentioned no qualifying, so this is random draw for the top 12. And look at Eric Almirola in the second row. I mean, this guy has had unbelievable luck on the draw.
He has. Great starts continue for the driver of the 10 car. You see Truex back there in row 6 next to Ryan Blaney. 2 drivers I expect to run very well today. Blaney needs a bunch of laps here. Can he go to victory lane?
Back. Yeah, this is the 20th through 30th. Back in the field. Eric Jones getting the bad news that he won't be back at Joe Gibbs Racing. Well, it's a great run today.
We saw the 6 and the 17. It said to the rear. Steve, it was a spoiler issue with those cars. Actually, they were confiscated by NASCAR.
Yeah, what I'm hearing, they didn't like something with the spoiler. Spoilers you buy, they have to use as provided. They were altered in some sort of fashion, so big penalties. We talked about the race. Only 156 laps. I know 312 miles seems long, but for the Cup Series, it's not. A 40-lap stage, a 45-lap stage, and a 71-lap stage to the checkered flag. Another thing to note, Rick, around lap 15, we will see a competition yellow once again. As you mentioned, no practice.
And as I saw the pit window there, as far as fuel, they can get to the end of each of these first 2 stages. It's the 3rd stage that they'll have issues.
I don't bring it up anymore, Rick. I think they lied to me. They tell me they can go 48 laps and they stretch it 50, 52 laps. We'll see.
It's time to go for the first of the doubleheader this weekend. The green flag is out in Michigan. Junior mentioned that high line. Could be the preferred line. There's traction compound, the PJ1 that is up there, put down by the track. And already, here comes Eric Almirola pressuring the 22.
Rick, when we come to these big high-speed tracks like Michigan, you can visibly see the cars are trimmed out. They're meant for speed, not great handling. The back bumpers very low to the ground. That's by choice. These crew chiefs trying to make their car as fast as Denny Hamlin squeezes up in the second position.
Riding along from Hunt Brothers Pizza number 4 with Kevin Harvick. He tries the low line here. Little bobble there by the 11 as he was going for the lead. Denny Hamlin has to chase it up the racetrack.
Yeah, that bottom groove down in turn 1 a little bit flatter. It's the progressive banking going up toward the wall. Denny losing the back of the race car down there. He's got a battle on his hands now for second. The 10 car goes the inside. Riding on the Toyota camera, Martin Truex Jr.
Here's that outside line working for Hamlin as we saw Eric Almirola go down low. Kelly.
And immediately for the leader, Joey Logano reporting a pretty strong vibration. Stevie says he feels like it's in the drivetrain. Just 3 laps into this, how concerning is that?
Very. My heart sinks. Michigan is one of those tracks. Tremendous amount of wide open throttle time. We're talking about the 3 manufacturers just down the street. It's about bragging rights. Everybody brings their best stuff. You have to ask yourself, have they pushed it too far? Do they have a driveline issue? Only 3 laps into 156 laps race. Very concerning.
Doesn't seem to be slowing him down much, though, as Denny Hamlin still about 0.3 of a second behind him. Then it's Eric Almirola. Side by side back here, you see the Napa number 9 of Chase Elliott. Right behind him, you see the 2 of Brad Keselowski. Won last week at New Hampshire. No Michigan-born driver has ever won at Michigan International Speedway. Brad Keselowski said this would be one of the bucket list items for him. Might even be bigger than if he won the Daytona 500.
What a big week for Brad Keselowski as we ride on board with the Ford Performance Cam. Announced he's re-signed with Team Penske, a 1-year extension. I thought 1 year was a little odd. Junior, I'll ask you as a driver, did it surprise you only 1 year for Brad Keselowski?
Look at him fighting the wheel there, trying to get momentum going. That high sign beat him down the back straightaway through 1 and 2. He's still trying to get his momentum going now that he's back in the high line here. Getting a push from the 20 car of Eric Jones into turn 1. That high line is so critical to get bottled down on the bottom. That car doesn't seem to be driving too well for Brad right now, but if you get bottled up on the bottom, you can lose a lot of spots. Marty.
Hey, Dale, jumping back to that contract, re-signing Brad Keselowski at Team Penske. He told me earlier this week, I'm glad to have it out of the way. He actually had a handshake deal with Roger Penske a couple of weeks back, so he knew, Jeremy Bullins knew, but now the whole world knows. And, Steve, you know as well, when you have a driver who's maybe not signed or the situation's not clear for the next year, it's nice to have that out of the way, especially if you're a team who believes you can go make a run for the championship.
Well, no one likes contract discussions. Junior, you know, you and I never had to worry about that. We're a team together. We knew we were in it for the long haul. So were you surprised? A 1-year deal. It's good to be back, but you expect to see a longer contract for Brad.
I wasn't. You know, knowing Brad, I wasn't surprised because he's the kind of guy that would take that risk of doing that 1-year deal and hoping that the market improves for him going forward. So I think that he had as much to do with that as anybody.
How about right behind him, you see the 18 of Kyle Busch. Could this be the week? Well, that's a broken record. We say it over and over and over. Could this be the week that Kyle Busch shows glimpses of what we've seen out of Kyle Busch before? Because up to this point this season, we haven't seen anything like what the defending and reigning series champion normally shows us.
You know, Rick, I wasn't concerned when it was 10 races, 12 races, 15 races, but now as we close into 20, I mean, you know, you never know when the faucet's going to shut off when it comes to race wins. Jimmy Johnson, right? He won most of his career. His longest streak up until his current streak was 24 races. Now it's been 114 for Jimmy Johnson. So, Marty, we don't expect that for Kyle Busch in the 18, but I will be honest, I didn't expect them to go 20 races into this season.
Well, and I asked Adam Stevens about last week. Remember when they finished at New Hampshire last? I said, how did the team sort of react to that? And he said, listen, it was disappointing because I honestly feel like we had some momentum going in the right direction. Things are starting to come our way, but our race team's not ready to go out and win a ton of races right now. We've got to walk before we crawl. We got to start finishing consistently in the top 10, then the top 5. But what they're really worried about is we watch a battle a little further back, the playoffs. They're worried about that. They only have 1 playoff point right now.
Jimmy Johnson in the 48 moved up to 21st position, having come from the back of the field, battling with that 95 car.
Yeah, right behind him. Yeah, that 95 of Levine Family Racing, and Bob Levine made a really startling announcement this week that they were going to sell the team. They were going to get out of NASCAR, and it was heartfelt. It was difficult. He actually made the comment. He said it's like having 2 kids and having to more or less tell one of them that they're not going to live any longer. And I mean, that's how much it affected that family.
I talked to Jason Ratcliffe. I said, man, you're the leader. What did you tell your guys? And he said, you know, I told them the good news is it's not dissolving, it's being sold. We don't know who the next owner will be, but hopefully that owner will want to continue what we started and try to win races in this 95 car.
NASCAR Drive, that's your live race day companion. You can follow your favorite drivers with high-definition in-car cameras. Just visit NASCAR.com/driver. You can download the mobile app today. We look at the battle for the lead. It's heating up once again as Denny Hamlin has closed the gap back down. But how can he get by him? That's the question, and that's the task at hand for the 11 team.
Yeah, he's got a much quicker car, I think, than the 22. It's leading the race, but Denny has to go where the 22 isn't, Steve. He has to get some clean air. He's going to either go lower in the corner. Right here, he's trying to show a little bit lower, get a little bit air on the nose of the car. We've seen him run a little bit higher in a couple corners, trying out the PJ1. He can close the gap down here in the middle, 3 and 4. If the 22 runs the middle, the 11 makes a lot of time on the bottom of the track.
That's where I think the 22 knows there's a yellow coming around lap 15, playing a little defense here as well, kind of taking the air away. As we watch this battle right here, there's also, this was the pass for third. We see Kevin Harvick taking advantage of the 10 of Eric Almirola. The 10 seems to be struggling a little bit. There's that run you were talking about at the bottom of the screen by Denny Hamlin, but really nowhere to go with it at the end of the straightaway. And this is a good run for Denny. I was concerned this is not a tire combination he runs very well at. Kentucky and Texas, same tire, and it seemed to be a struggle. Oh, as the 22 goes up the track.
Yeah, he had to catch it right there. Now will that open the door for Denny to potentially get by him before the competition comes out?
Lap car, Junior, you think that 66 hurt the 22's air for just a second?
Just for a second, it could have. Now Denny to the bottom. I think he gets to the inside here. Denny's made a lot of time on that bottom in 3 and 4. Right to the inside of the 22 down the front straightaway.
Side by side. We know the competition caution is going to come out here soon. Denny Hamlin edges just in front of the 22. Can he hold on to it?
I think Joey has a preferred line on the outside down here. Just seems how the 11 will commit to the entry. He can't do it. Losing ground right there. Oh, he gets a little loose.
Good Lord.
How close was that?
Yeah, Denny just could not hold the bottom. We saw that earlier. The caution comes out for the competition yellow, but Denny chasing the back of the car up off the corner and almost in the inside of the 22 as you see Blaney on pit road.
So Blaney cannot take fuel because it's before the competition yellow, so they're taking 4 tires right here. We'll have to see if they can stay on the lead lap. Comp yellow here at Michigan. It's a pretty good strategy call. We'll have to make sure pits were open when he came to pit call. Marty.
Yeah, a little strategy call here for Todd Gordon and that group to come down pit road and take on the tires here, and then they'll take fuel here at the comp caution. So an interesting move there by the 12 car. Competition caution here at Michigan. Pit stops coming up, and a great battle already for the lead here at MIS.
All right, it's time to choose. That's right. Steve explained the choose rule. Junior talked about how the teams will use it potentially for a little bit of strategy. They're coming to that area right now on the track.
So you see right here, there's an orange triangle V. It's a little hard to see. When the cars come there, they can either choose the inside lane or the outside lane, Junior. Basically, don't touch that orange square. That's a penalty, but as a driver, you can pick which lane you want to restart in.
Sure, you miss the orange arrow. Miss the orange arrow no matter what.
I like that. You can hit the orange arrow, but I would just tell them to miss the whole arrow. That way I know when to miss the box. So here they go.
All right, let's see these guys choosing that high line. That high line's the preferred line. That's probably going to be the better line. You can see a bunch of guys going to that bottom.
Mixed. I give it about 50-50. So, oh boy, he doesn't know which way he's going.
Yeah, a lot of people, different directions. This week we talked to James Small, we talked to Eric Almirola, we talked to a few different people about this rule. Some of them are using formulas. Some of them are putting together a matrix to figure out exactly where they should go on each restart.
So we talked about all those details, but Rick, I'm going to be honest. I thought about this over the last couple days as a crew chief. The first thing I'm going to do is make sure my driver knows the rule. I know that sounds silly, but Junior, right? I'm going to say, listen, you can choose. That's fine. Pick high, pick low. Do not hit the orange box, right? Let's not give ourselves a black eye here in week 1. Let's just try to get in line.
Yeah, and it's easy to do. You know, we can hardly see this arrow from our vantage point, much less sitting in a race car, low to the ground. We're looking right off of the hood. It's hard to see that dash or that arrow painted on the racetrack.
Junior, you mentioned that the high line was the preferred line. We saw a number of cars choose that high line where they could have had a better starting position if they would have went down low, but they chose the high line.
Yeah, they're just hoping that that's going to be the, the consistently better line on all these restarts.
Well, there you go. There's your top 10 before the choose, right? This is where they were running first through 10th, and then they get to the orange point, and everybody picks, and they move all around. There's new positions. Jimmy Johnson was 10th. Now he's on the inside lane, so the lineup completely changed around.
And pace car is off. It's Logano and Hamlin once again in row one. We'll see who chose correctly as they come back to the green. Inside lane is working. A little bit of help there for Denny Hamlin. Tyler Reddick, a great push on the 11, and Hamlin takes the lead away from Logano.
Look at that mess coming down the backstretch, zigging and zagging. The two of Brad Keselowski, that white car pulls to the inside of Jimmy Johnson back there for about the 10th position.
NASCAR posting the 53 of Garrett Smithley for a restart violation.
The 4-car, Kevin Harvick to the bottom, trying to get that inside line working on the 22 of Logano. Gets a little bit loose, not able to make the pass. He's got some pushers coming behind him. Kurt Busch to the inside of Alex Bowman. Chase Elliott to the inside. All these guys diving down into turn 1, 3 wide.
Chase Elliott able to clear the 18. And as quickly as I say that, the 18 fights back on the outside, and still side by side back here. Mark Truex Jr. on the inside. Here we're riding along with Kevin Harvick inside of Logano. This is a fight for second.
Oh,
way up the racetrack. Just mentioned the 19 of Mark Truex Jr. and an issue for that car.
Hold it up. Keep coming.
Must be a flat right side tire, it seems. The left side's looked up. Looks like he's waiting to get to pit road. Oh, yeah, flat right front tire on the 19. Does a nice job of not making contact. Will come to pit road. Will lose a lap, even if they only change right side tires. But a good job not ending their day with a bigger accident. Let's take a look, Junior, see if we can find it. He's right here inside the 8. I don't know if there's contact or if it just goes straight.
Yeah, he already recognizes it right there and gets out of the gas. Oh, real lucky not to get in the fence.
Oh, we've seen this.
You have no control over the right front tire, over the car when the right front tire's flat. Another battle for second, still going. I think the 4 is going to clear the 22 Logano off of turn 4.
He's coming up no matter what. He was on his way up there.
Hey, guess what? Hamlin, Harvick, guys. 1-2.
It has been week after week. Take a look at this. Harvick wants to go for 2.
And what's so impressive about that is he ran the bottom in 3 and 4 to get that second position, and the momentum down the straightaway was there for that 4 car to make a run on our leader, Denny Hamlin.
New leader, Kevin Harvick at Michigan.
You mentioned it, Dale. So impressive to run the bottom and still have the momentum. That 4 car must be handling great to run that low on the racetrack.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Well, at this racetrack, Kevin Harvick, incredible. Take a look at the numbers. Won 2 of the last 3 races, led the most laps, 2 of the last 4 races.
So, Junior, you mentioned it. What made this so impressive is the combination of the 2 ends of the racetrack. So we're watching this battle for the lead. This is in 3 and 4. Here comes Harvick to the bottom, Junior.
Yeah, he runs the bottom, and that's a great pass for the second position. I had no idea that he would have any momentum whatsoever to make a run on the 11. But he jumps in front of the 22. Maybe he got a little bit of a push from that car to run down the 11 on the front straightaway. A little bit of help with the draft as well. Just really impressive. That car's trimmed out. Now he's in the lead.
We see the 22 of Logano, Rick, now under attack. He used that clean air early in the race, but now that he's lost that clean air, the car doesn't seem to be handling. The 1 of Kurt Busch on the bottom of the racetrack, the 88, is going to have to decide which lane he picks. He kind of runs that middle, keeps some clean air on the nose.
Marty.
Rick, I think the key question for everybody at home is, did you have another regular season Kevin Harvick fantasy start left in your lineup? Because Harvick obviously clearly very good. You showed the stats a moment ago. Driving the car that they won Indianapolis with a few weeks ago. It was brand new there and pretty happy with it so far. Here's what he said on the radio.
I feel good about the black down there in 1 or 2. It's like a half a car into the black. It was a little more than that, but I would feel comfortable with a half a car in the black, yes. Wouldn't go no more than that. She run it a couple times.
That's Tim Fiedel talking about the traction compound up there in the top of the racetrack. Junior, I kind of found it weird. Last fall is when they put it down, or last August is when they put it down. It seemed like cars and drivers were actually kind of avoiding it. Now they're kind of playing in it now here early in this race. Kelly?
And issues for the rookie Tyler Reddick. It sounded like he said something just broke off turn 4. They took left side tires only. I heard Randall Burnett say, we're going to pull it out. So I don't know if they were talking about body work or what there, but obviously an unplanned pit stop there for the 8.
I have to take a look because it seems like the 19 of Truex and the 8 of Reddick were near each other on that restart. Now 2 drivers have flats, one with the left, one with the right. That sounds like contact.
Yeah. Just listen into Logano's radio.
Paul, I'm going to need something. I don't know what I'm going to need. That free into 3 is causing me to lift, and I can't really put the car where I want it very confidently. And then on the exit, I start losing the nose, and they're both hurting me fairly equally.
So he's loose into the corner. Can't carry the car down in the corner like these other guys. And then he gets tight on exit. And it hurts him all the way down the next straightaway. Saw some issues in handling with the 2 cars teammate, Brad Keselowski. 22 car starting to slip back through the field.
Right behind him, you see the 20 of Eric Jones, the Byron, Michigan driver. The announcement was made by Joe Gibbs Racing earlier in the week that Eric would not be coming back to Joe Gibbs Racing in 2021, so he becomes a free agent, and maybe he could be the leading candidate to fill the void in the 48, where the retiring Jimmy Johnson's going to happen.
You know, Rick, I'd compare him to that driver he's passing, the 22 of Joey Logano. Remember, he started his career at Joe Gibbs Racing. Look what he's gone on to do. People think, you know, he didn't have the numbers. Eric Jones, he's going to finish his career with 10 or 15 more top 10s than Joey Logano did at Joe Gibbs Racing. So when you question what Jones could become, maybe you should look at that driver in the 22. Maybe that's a little bit of seeing into the future.
We made USAA insurance for veterans like Liz and Mike, an Army family who's always at the ready. So when they got a little surprise, they didn't panic. They got a bigger car for their soon-to-be bigger family. After shopping around for insurance, they called USAA, who helped find the right coverage for them and even some much-needed savings.
That was the easy part.
USAA insurance has made the way Liz and Mike need it easy. USAA, what you're made of, we're made for.
Sunday dinner has always been special. These days, it's just nice to have something to look forward to. Well, break out the good plates and tell the kids to wash up. Because it's Sunday dinner, even if it isn't necessarily Sunday.
We could never do what they do. But what we can do is be a partner that never quits. Verizon is the most reliable network in America, built for interoperability and puts first responders first, giving their calls priority 24/7. We do what we do best, so they can too.
When you eat Reese's for dessert, is it over too fast? Well, then chill your Reese's. You'll eat it slower. I wouldn't know. I swallow mine whole. Like a duck. Not sorry, Reese's.
I am the future, and I am now.
How about win at Daytona?
I am a face you may not know, with a number you may not know.
Ross Chastain back on Algar.
But you will. Trust me, you will. I am going to make sure my name will be the one you'll remember forever. I am the NASCAR Xfinity Series. I am NASCAR.
Second half of the season. This stretch of road has always been tough. You've got to earn it every week. And this year, it means even more. NASCAR on NBC and NBCSN. The best racing is now.
NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by the Toasted S'mores Shake, only at Sonic. Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR, perfect for race fans. And by Toyota. Beautiful day in Michigan as the aerial coverage brought to you by Geico. We look down on race leader Kevin Harvick and the chase there by the 11 of Denny Hamlin.
22 car having some handling issues. And the 18's giving him more problems. Coming off of turn 2, getting in the back of that car off the corner and shoving him down the back straightaway. Joey's waving out the window like, go! Don't wreck me, just go on by.
About wrecked him. About got rid of both of them there. Marty.
Hey, Rick, as we check out the Xfinity fastest lap of the race, it'll show you that Ryan Blaney on those 4 fresh Goodyear tires is flying. He restarted 13th and is up to 3rd. And remember, Todd Gordon made the call to come down before the competition caution. Take on those 4 fresh Goodyear tires. They didn't need any more fuel to make it to the end of the stage, but those tires make a big difference. So, Steve, I'm curious, as a crew chief on top of the box, number 1, I know you noticed that the tires did make a difference, but number 2, how are you thinking that's going to play out for the rest of the race? Because people thought tires wouldn't make a big difference. Clearly, they are.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I'm waiting to see the 12 when he stacked up heads up because he's perhaps the only one, him and Keselowski, moving forward on fresh tires. Blaney's lower on fuel, so he's a little bit lighter. You know, he's going to run almost 20 laps and not catch the front 2. But, Marty, I think you bring up a great point that fresh tires have definitely helped the 12 and that great strategy by his crew chief. So, you know, you got to be liquid with your pit strategy, Rick. You can't come in there with a set decision.
You don't think in 5 laps, though, there's no way he's going to be able to catch these guys?
I don't think he can catch the leaders. Okay. Keselowski right here, who we're on board with, he just passed with the 6th position, and I think there's a couple positions right in front of him that he can get as those older tires get a little warmer, lose some more grip.
Harvick, Hamlin, Blaney, Kurt Busch, and Eric Jones, the top 5. Keselowski, Alex Bowman, Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. are the top 10.
I think the newer tires will hang in there. Or the tire will hang in there if the PJ1 is something the drivers can use, but they're all running under it on that older surface. I think getting new tires, getting 4 tires will make you quick in that particular area of the racetrack, give you more grip than the guys that don't take tires. But if that PJ1 becomes a factor later in the race, the older tires can get up there and make speed. Like the 20 cars running right now can make good speed with an older tire in that higher grip surface.
And now really, Rick, it's going to be a lot of conversation about how much fuel you're going to have to take as we see the 6 of Ryan Newman right here trying to hold off Truex in the 19. You know, it's going to be, as we're on board with the Coca-Cola cam on Newman looking back at Truex. Truex with that flat tires currently scored 1 lap down, not in the free pass position. So he's going to have to be kind of creative to try to find his lap.
So let's ride along the roof cam here down the front straightaway. Pretty smooth racetrack, pretty straightforward too. A lot of room, a little bit of a bump at the flag stand right there you see. Off into turn 1. Off throttle. Back in the gas real early, way before the middle of the corner. Look at the back of these cars moving around. Down the back straightaway. A little bit of bumps here toward the end of the back straightaway. The car's going to bounce just a little bit right there. Down into turn 3 again, off throttle pretty early. Back to throttle before the center. Chasing the back of the car really loose right here. All the way out to the fence. It's a fun racetrack with a lot of room. Miss run there, Marty.
Hey, Junior, for a Kyle Busch fan, he's sitting in 9th, but happy with his race car. Listen on the radio.
I think this is the closest we've ever been at the start of a race. I think we're close. It's just, I don't know what we're going to do to fix the right front thing. I think just bad air situations made it real bad. Kind of learning my way around that.
Final lap at this stage, but Kyle Busch happy. The right front thing, he's sliding that right front. But Adam Stevens, remember what he said. We got to crawl before we walk. Good sign so far for Kyle Busch.
Sounded almost, I'll say, positive.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was a little bit shocking. It wasn't the response that we heard last week where he said, it's 2020. Kevin Harvick, he might be from Bakersfield, California, but he has been the Michigan man as of late. He's going to win stage 1.
All right, good job, green checker.
And Rick, one thing pretty consistent in 2020, those 2 names at the front of the field, Harvick and Hamlin.
Winningest drivers this season, Harvick, Hamlin finished 1 and 2 in stage 1. Ryan Blaney showing a lot of speed there, finished 3rd in that stage. Kurt Busch, Keselowski, Eric Jones, also a Michigan native. Alex Bowman, Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. a part of the top 10. gaining some points, but it was ultimately Harvick who is going to get a playoff point for winning the first stage.
Grab an ice cold Coke and buckle up. You're watching NASCAR on NBC.
Well, tomorrow on NBC, the Premier Lacrosse League crowns champion as Chaos is going to face the Whip Snakes. Whip Snakes, they're undefeated in the league championship series, while Chaos, they were winless in group play but have been unstoppable in the elimination round. That coverage begins at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. All right, let's listen in to Jimmy Johnson's radio communication.
Man, I don't know. We made a terrible decision at the cone. We made a terrible decision on the restart. If we made better decisions, we'd be fifth right now.
Well, let's not worry about that, man. Eyes forward. That's what I keep hearing.
Yeah, I'm with you, but I don't know who was where. We were in perfectly good shape.
That sounded to me a conversation between the crew chief and the spotter. We talked about the choose cone and how it's going to affect the race today. Well, it seemed like Cliff Daniels was pretty adamant. They chose incorrectly. He thought that hurt him. He said they could be running 5th. They're currently running 12th. So this is something we're going to hear. You know, restarts have always been a point of frustration for both driver and crew chief. I'm not sure the choose cone is going to help the frustration level. Maybe a little more finger pointing.
And now, at the end of stage 1, pit road is open, and race leader Kevin Harvick is going to lead the field onto pit road. Marty?
Pit road, yeah, full of takers here, Rick. And Todd Gordon with that terrific call for Ryan Blaney, top of your screen, to get him that track position with the 4 fresh Goodyear tires. He said, I'm a little tight in 3 and 4. That's really my only complaint. Car's pretty good. Kind of the same song for Kevin Harvick. Rodney Childers said, what do you got with your car? He said, I think it's fine. I wouldn't do anything with it. If anything, it's a little bit too free, but I'll take that. I think, or a little bit too tight. He said, I'll take that. We need to be a little bit tight to turn. And Denny Hamlin says, I'm just getting flat beat with power. That's where I'm getting beat. I need more overall speed. A little bit too free in 1 and 2, but Hamlin's pit crew gets it done here on pit road. They win that race, Rick.
Yeah, solid effort there, gaining a spot. Harvick will drop one. Keselowski a couple spots on pit road. The Tracker 800 SX does it all. With an impressive towing and payload capacity, it makes the hard jobs easy. Plus an engine that's quietest in its class. Available now at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. While we're in a break here from stage 1 to stage 2, let's go to our Charlotte studios and bring in Brad Doherty and DJ. And guys, we saw a great Xfinity Series race that you guys were a part of. What are you thinking about this one?
Yeah, it was really a great race up there. It took all afternoon to get it done, but it was great racing, a lot of fun. But, you know, watching this race, kind of the same thing that we've seen, especially at these faster racetracks. Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin up front. Harvick and Rodney Childers have figured out a way to utilize that Doug Yates horsepower and trim this race car out, and it's going to be hard to beat today.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think it's going to be interesting, though. Brad Keselowski had a good, solid run there, picked up 2 spots on pit road. He has 6 stage wins in the second stage. Watch out for him this stage, and watch out for him by the end of the day.
Yeah, Eric Jones, too.
Yeah,
he finished 5th in that, and a man looking for a new ride, always a dangerous man on the track.
And again, welcome Brad Doherty to the team. Glad to have him. He's been busy already today. Another guy that's been very busy. Joining us up here in the booth now at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Jeff Burton. Welcome. We're about to choose.
What's up, guys? I missed y'all.
We missed you, too.
That's the fastest trip from Sheboygan to Michigan I've ever. You must have flew across the lake.
That's a DJ. We were just talking. We had dinner that was going to be delivered to us over there. We thought that race was going to go that long, but it was fun race. Good to see Xfinity guys get after it. And now, get to watch this race in Michigan.
So, Jeff, we've seen this once already, this new rule, this choose opportunity where the cars can pick the inside or the outside. Basically, you have to be below the orange box if you're going to pick the bottom, above the orange box if you're going to pick the top. The orange box is right there past the start-finish line. We heard some audio that the 48 didn't like his decision. Let's see what the 18, how they communicate. I've been wondering this, Rick, right? Is this driver or crew chief? Let's hear what they have to say as they approach this orange box.
Who makes the decision?
And 1 to go. So, just using your number there. I'll let you know how many go top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 top.
All right, so that tells me use your number. They had some sort of a call it equation, but where they were running, how many spots they would give up to start in the top lane versus how many they would gain to run in the bottom. I mean, Jeff, that's what I make of that. Or Junior, you know, if they had a number, he heard a number, he chose top.
Yeah, he chose top, but if he would have went to the bottom, he would have gained a couple of spots. And we saw that inside line actually prevail on the previous restart. So I thought the outside would be the place to be, and it still may be the preferred line. It appears that that's what Kyle Busch believes.
Yeah, so, you know, we talk about this choose rule. What does it do? Well, here was the top 10 pre-choose rule. Denny Hamlin through Kyle Busch running first through 10th. Now, after they choose the lane, as you mentioned, Junior, they had the opportunity to move up or lose spots. So we're going to see a different lineup with the guys that have moved forward or the guys that have moved back. Denny Hamlin obviously still in the front row with Brad Keselowski. Kyle Busch nowhere in the picture, right? Not in 5 rows, so he gave up his top 10 spot.
Clint Boyer went from 9th to 5th.
Yeah.
He's on the inside of row 3, so he gained a lot of spots.
We'll see if it works out for him. Again, preferred line here at Michigan, as we heard from Junior, that higher line. And so the pace car will make its way back onto pit road, leaving the field in the hands of Denny Hamlin and Brad Keselowski. And here come the field approaching the Geico restart zone.
Three wide down here with Boyer on the inside of Eric Jones into turn 1.
If he can clear Eric Jones, it's going to be good. If he can't, he's going to be stuck on that bottom.
It's going to be real bad if he doesn't clear him.
And all this momentum on the top. It's one of those moves you want to make if it works, but if it doesn't work, it can get ugly.
Wow, back there, Kyle Busch almost in the back of the 9 car. A lot of checking up the end of the back straightaway for that outside line.
Still 1 and 2. The 11 of Denny Hamlin, and Kevin Harvick has moved up to 2nd. Logano back to 3rd. Excuse me, Ryan Blaney back to 3rd. Then it's Brad Keselowski and Kurt Busch.
Bubba Wallace gets loose on the inside of the 20 car of Eric Jones in the middle of the corner. Alex Bowman tries to attack as well as Chase Elliott. 3 wide into turn 3. Chase Elliott aggressive down to the bottom here. Will it stick?
Bowman gets a little momentum, able to clear him. Now we see Bubba Wallace in the 43 right on his back bumper.
Well, Chase was hoping that the 18 car would push him down that front straightaway. He's going to dive the inside now. Kyle Busch to the inside of Chase. Battle for the lead up front.
Ryan Blaney makes it easy as Blaney goes by Denny Hamlin. Now Harvick looking to the inside. And Hamlin now drops all the way to 3rd, maybe to 4th if Kurt Busch can get by him.
Man, just like that. Denny Hamlin, the leader, battling for 4th place off of turn 4 now.
Keselowski trying to get by him on the inside. Ryan Blaney played a little strategy, came in right before the competition caution, got 4 fresh tires, stayed out at the competition caution, then was able to get all the way up to 3rd at the end of the stage, and now has battled his way to the lead at Michigan.
That set of corners right there. Ryan Blaney drove in and just pulled it right to the bottom and drove away from the 4. There you go.
See. It just had such a huge run down the front straightaway because of the draft. And Denny goes to the inside and allows the 12 to get to the outside there. And that just doesn't allow Denny taking that inside, doesn't allow him to keep that momentum and lose a couple more spots because of that. Now he's back up to speed and trying to fight back to get those few positions back side by side for 2nd.
Kurt Busch, strong move into 1. Almost had Kevin Harvick clear, but doesn't clear him. Now he's got to try to jump in behind him to keep the 11 car from getting on the outside.
The 12 car trying to break the draft down the back straightaway, something we typically see at the super speedways like Talladega and Daytona, but you saw the draft be a factor in how Denny Hamlin lost the lead. So those guys are going to try to break the draft down the straightaway if you're out front. moving around. Don't allow them to follow you down the straightaway.
That side-by-side battle right there will allow Eric Jones and that yellow car behind him to get a big toe down the front straightaway. Going to try to make it 3 wide on the outside.
He's actually been in that PJ1 a lot already today, so he knows what the grip level is like up there and can commit and make that pass.
That pass started all the way back in the middle of 3 and 4 when Keselowski was underneath Hamlin. That slowed both of them down, created a big wake that the 20 car was able to get into, get a big draft down the front straightaway, jump on the outside of them.
And again, Eric Jones, the question mark will be, where does he end up in 2021? The announcement made earlier this week that he would no longer be with Joe Gibbs Racing. Marty.
Hey, Rick, on the racetrack, that traction compound, as the guys were pointing out, starting to come into play. You're seeing more and more cars drift up there with their right side tires. Steve, one of the things crew chiefs were really worried about coming into the race, left side tire wear. Check out the left front from the 88 of Alex Bowman. Man, that is corded. So in theory, it should get better throughout the race, and that tire wear should get better. You shouldn't see cords like that. But how worried would you be if you're Greg Ives and that was the left front that came off after 40 laps?
Well, very, very worried, because in theory, the wear should get better on a normal racetrack. But we just heard that sticky stuff has started to be activated. If that allows the driver to put his right sides in it to still continue fast lap times, but drag that left front around the old pavement, Rick, I'm not sure it's going to get better.
Bowman right now in 7th. Blaney out front as we go NASCAR nonstop. The official app of NASCAR puts race coverage and live in-car cameras right at your fingertips. You can search NASCAR in your app store, or you can visit NASCAR.com/mobile. All right, diehard fans, create your best rendition of the iconic Start Your Engines for a chance to be featured during the Indy 500 pre-race coverage, plus a chance to win an Advance Auto Parts gift card. Submit your video at callingalldiehards.com. And don't forget to tweet with hashtag IndyCar and hashtag YIMADiehard. Kelly.
Some great racing between Eric Jones and Kevin Harvick. It looks like Harvick's got the spot for now, but Chris Gale, the crew chief on the 20, told me it's obviously been a pretty tough week, but he said, look, Eric Jones is a driver that's never lacked for effort or going out on the track and racing hard. And when I asked him about the season, he said, yes, it's been sporadic. But he said, when we actually look at where we're running and the speed in our car compared to our JGR teammates, we're actually closer than we've been in the past. They just have had a myriad of reasons and mistakes that have set them back, and they haven't had the results to show for it. So they feel like the performance is better than it's ever been, but they need to start closing the deal. And coming off the heels of that news for Eric Jones today, imagine what a win at his home racetrack here in Michigan would do for him.
Yeah, I think a lot of eyes are on Brad Keselowski, thinking he could be the first Michigan-born driver to win at Michigan International Speedway. But don't forget, Byron, Michigan, for Eric Jones. He could be the first that's been able to do it. Benny Parsons couldn't do it.
See Harvick way up the racetrack right there. He's been trying to make that very top work and hasn't had a lot of luck doing it. You see the 4 car in front of Eric Jones. This is how it happened. Gets the front bumper on Eric's rear bumper, pushing him all the way down the front straightaway, and just continues it into turn 1, just pushes him. Eric's going way too fast, gets up the racetrack. Kevin turns underneath him. It's fun racing right there. The lap before that, Kevin was getting information that the 20 was able to run that top lane, so Kevin tried to do it, and it just didn't work. And ever since, Kevin's been much lower on the racetrack.
Right there, he's trying to use that PJ1 in the high side. He's going wherever this 12 isn't to try to get that clean air. And this is exactly, when they talk about adding a treatment to the track, this is what I had in mind. This is the way it should be done. If you want some grip, you're going to have to go up the racetrack to find it. Leave the preferred groove, the bottom groove, the middle groove, alone, untreated. And if you want to find a little speed, a little extra grip, go to that high side, the longer way around to find it.
You saw how Harvick just really destroyed the 12 of Blaney through 1 and 2, but he cannot carry the same speed over in 3 and 4. So let's see what Harvick does this time. See if he plays that same strategy. Look at that toe he gets down the front straightaway. Now he gets close to him. Now he's going to get tight behind him. So he turns, tries to go underneath him so he doesn't get tight.
Yeah, if he follows the 12, if he guesses wrong, and the 12 and him go into the same groove, the 4 is going to get extremely tight because of the dirty air behind that 12 car with a big spoiler on the back. So he has to try to go wherever the 12 is. If the 12 is going to run the bottom, he's got to guess top. So he's got to kind of wait to see what kind of wheel input the 12 uses into the corner before he can make his decision on where he's going.
And Blaney, if Blaney is smart, and he is, he doesn't do the same thing every lap. You know, Junior, when you and I drove, when you found a fast lane, that's where you ran. But in today's world, it's as much about slowing the car down behind you as it is running your fastest lap. So Blaney needs to show him something different every lap. Right here, Harvick's got a big run. Let's see what he's able to do with it down in turn 3.
He gets to a point, though, he starts to almost push that 12 car away from him on the straightaway.
Right here, that little high exit, watch what happens. Yep. Watch him get this toe down this front straightaway. That high exit frees the car up. Also, he's getting some draft. Eric Jones behind him wanting to get in there and play.
Well, he has to breathe the throttle just a little bit right there. But he wants this to continue. That 12 car run lower. He'll run that higher line to create more momentum down the straightaway. Maybe the 12 makes a mistake, gets loose, something like that in that bottom or middle groove, and that will kill the momentum. Now he dives to the inside here. Oh, he's going to be able to almost get to the quarter panel, but the 12 has the momentum. He will drive away down the straightaway.
That's right. Now, as opposed to the last lap we saw where the 4 gained on the 12 down the front straightaway, he's breaking even now, but that's because of the lack of momentum because he ran the bottom.
How about the brothers on the right side of the screen, Kurt Busch and Kyle Busch?
Yeah, these two have been battling in the points, nose to tail, for the last several weeks. Now they're battling out on the racetrack. Marty.
Best run for Kurt Busch in about a month, running 6th right now, Dale, and he had a very interesting perspective earlier as he continues this battle with his brother. He was back in traffic, but then in clean air, a completely different car. Listen to what he said on the radio.
A little loose turn into off the roll, and then it kind of lands tight for an instant. It's when I make a front movements with it. I just kind of smooth out all my inputs. Or is this clean air right here?
Interesting perspective there, Jeff, talking about needing to smooth out his inputs when he's in clean air versus being back in traffic. So sort of explain what Kurt's got going on behind the wheel there.
That's really interesting. That shows you how different the car drives behind another car versus being by yourself. And what Kurt's saying is if he puts too much wheel input into it, he doesn't really know where the car is going. The back of the car is trying to drive the front of the car, so he's just got to be real smooth and easy with the wheel, not trying to hustle the car. That's a tough thing because, you know, you want to be able to just manhandle the car, Junior. You want to be just point it and go wherever you want to go. When you can't, really handicaps your ability to make the moves you need to make.
On the left, watching that lead battle, the 12 car moved up a little bit, almost as high as the 4 now. Harvick still stalking, though, down the back straightaway, gaining a little bit of momentum down that back straightaway from the top. Goes down into turn 3. He's going to go to the bottom, all the way to the white line.
You know, these two drivers, it's pretty well known in the garage area. They both can drive a car that's loose. They both can drive a car that doesn't make as much rear grip as some other people are required to drive them, and that gives them a big advantage on a racetrack like this.
Oh, Harvick follows him into the corner and is able to maintain. I'm so impressed with that. Right on the back of this 12 car. Air is so dirty directly behind that car, but he was able to make good time through 1 and 2, following him into the corner.
Watch the back of the 12 car. That thing's moving around.
Yeah, he is not comfortable, but he's maintaining that lead. Not making it easy on Kevin to try to take that position.
It's kind of the razor's edge they stand on, isn't it, Junior? If you get it where the back of the car is not moving around, it might feel good, but it's going to be so tight, it's going to hurt the right front tire and get slower later in a run. If you can tolerate that looseness, it's just a major advantage. And as these guys are going at it, Denny Hamlin right behind him, he has run them down. He's gotten by Eric Jones. He's the fastest car on the racetrack the last several laps.
All right, guys, let's see who's On the Move, brought to you by Credit One Bank, as Tyler Reddick has gained 9 spots. Cole Custer, 8 spots. Couple rookies right there fighting for Rookie of the Year. And then Kyle Busch, 7 spots.
Yeah, Reddick in the 8 took the wave around after that flat tire, so he's going to be a little short on fuel. May have to come to pit road here in 8 to 10 laps without a yellow. But how about the 41 of Custer, guys? Goes to victory lane at Kentucky on this tire combination. It definitely has given that young man some confidence. Rick, as you mentioned, on the move, driving up through the field here at Michigan.
Let's go NASCAR nonstop.
Honey, where's our limo?
We're not getting a limo.
Well, I thought you were going to get a car that was classy and elegant.
Oh, we are. And this one's got over 700 horsepower.
Great, because I'm driving.
You're fanatical about NASCAR. Geico's fanatical about saving you money on car insurance. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. Proud partner of NASCAR.
Tomorrow can only be better with Wendy's breakfast. Win with a breakfast Baconator, honey butter chicken biscuit, sausage egg and Swiss croissant, or a maple bacon chicken croissant free with mobile order purchase. Tomorrow's looking good.
Awesome internet. It's more than just fast. It keeps all your devices running smoothly. With built-in security that protects your kids, no matter what they're up to. Protects your info, and gives you 24/7 peace of mind. That if it's connected, it's protected. Even that pet camera thingy. Can your internet do that? Xfinity XFi can, because it's simple, easy, awesome.
Xfinity, proud premier partner of NASCAR.
Tomorrow can only be better with Wendy's breakfast. Win with a breakfast Baconator, honey butter chicken biscuit, sausage egg and Swiss croissant, or a maple bacon chicken croissant free with mobile order purchase. Tomorrow's looking good.
I am the one. Back with a full throttle roar. I am the intersection of chaos, karma, love, legacy, family, and flag. I am the place where we can be as one, united from the four corners of our beloved sport. Back with one thunderous return. I am ready for you. If you are ready for me, I am NASCAR.
Second half of the season. This stretch of road has always been tough. You've got to earn it every week. And this year, it means even more. NASCAR on NBC and NBCSN. The best racing is now.
Tomorrow on NBC, Stanley Cup playoff seeds come down to this. Can Dallas muscle their way past the defending champion?
They score!
Stars, Blues, the Stanley Cup qualifiers. 3 p.m. Eastern on NBC.
10 laps to go in stage 2 of the Firekeepers Casino 400 from Michigan International Speedway. Coming up on Wednesday, A.J. Allmendinger finished second earlier today at Elkhart Lake, Road America. He's going to be on NBC Sports on Sirius XM. That's NASCAR Radio Channel 90. It's live on Wednesdays at 8 a.m. Eastern. Again, A.J. Allmendinger, one of the greats on road courses. And, of course, we've got a road course coming up next weekend. That will be at Daytona. First time that drivers will be able to experience the road course at Daytona, as we see Kevin Harvick trying the high line here, trying any way he can to get around that 12 of Ryan Blaney for the lead.
He's got something right here. He's going to try to block him behind that 15.
That was amazing. I watched him go down into turn 3 and 4 the lap before and run really high and create so much momentum and speed down the front straightaway. Put him in position to be able to make that move in 1 and 2, make that commitment on the top in 1 and 2, and get the run off of the second turn. Man, that thing's working good.
He's being stingy again. He won stage 1 and now out front with just 8 to go in stage 2, as we see Tyler Reddick has brought the 8 to pit road.
Trying to dig out from that flat tire earlier, Rick. They came to pit road on green, lost the lap, took the wave around.
Denny Hamlin had an issue in 1 and 2, had to get out of the gas. Loses a spot to Brad Keselowski, 3rd place.
Hamlin's been close today, but it seems as though Harvick's a little better, Ryan Blaney a little better. Now Keselowski maybe surging ahead of him. Still a whole stage to go.
Denny Hamlin up there.
Oh, he almost got really loose. What a save. Well, I mean, I'm telling you, man, that was an incredible save to keep that car out of the fence.
But Steve, that's a product of just having that car loose enough to make lap time, isn't it? And then you're just right there on the edge, and when the back starts coming around, you just can't catch it.
That's exactly right. I mean, it's not a contest of comfort. These could all drive like Cadillacs if the if the crew chiefs wanted them to. It is a contest of speed. Well, unfortunately for the drivers, for these cars to go faster, we have to find speed. You have horsepower. Well, the best way to make the horsepower look good is to make the car go through the air easier. That means less downforce. That means less comfort for the drivers.
Man, this racetrack has really opened up. Guys using the apron all the way up to the third groove. We're able to create momentum and pass. Loving what I'm seeing from this Michigan Speedway. This surface is starting to finally age. Here comes the 11 car with a little momentum. Brad's going to have to get out of the gas a little bit.
Way out of the gas is Keselowski sideways. He hangs on to it. Denny Hamlin will go by for third.
Yeah. Awesome.
Awesome.
Good race.
Awesome, we hear from Junior.
It's awesome if you're Hamlin.
Yeah.
This track has been, sort of a single-lane racetrack for so long, and I know what this place is capable of, and it's really starting to show it today.
Just saw Jimmy Johnson go by Chase Elliott, so he has taken over a spot. He goes up to 11th. Again, laps winding down, 5 to go in stage 2.
So Denny gets the run on the outside. The 2's a little bit out of the gas right now, but as soon as the 11 shows up on the quarter panel, you see how loose it makes the 2 car. As soon as that car appears or is on that quarter panel, it takes all the side force off. It turns that 2 car sideways. It's really a shock if you're inside that car controlling it.
It's a shock if I'm sitting on the pit box watching it.
It's a shock.
Maybe not the same amount, but I would still be concerned.
And Brad's had some issues at the start of the race with the balance of that car. Now in the long run, he's probably going to want some more adjustments to improve as he's starting to lose another spot here to Eric Jones down into turn 3.
And Rick, we talked about the length of this race. We just completed lap 81. 75 to go. We're past halfway already. I mean, this thing is a sprint today.
It goes fast. And the speeds are high here as well. We saw guys catching the race car. We've seen Brad Keselowski do it. Denny Hamlin do it at well over 180 miles an hour. These things getting sideways.
So we saw the 8 of Tyler Reddick come to pit road. I thought it was because they needed fuel after taking the wave around. Well, here you go. This is the right rear tire off the 8. You see that it has worn to a point, Kelly, where finally it unravels. That has to be unnerving for the driver.
Well, I can imagine, in talking to these crew chiefs ahead of this race, there was kind of conflicting reports on how concerned they were about tire wear and with this tire, but I kept hearing left side tires, that left side tires were going to be the issue. So as you said, that one of Tyler Reddick that has clearly been worn, that is the right rear. Now, I'm also hearing vibrations out of the 38 of John Hunter Nemechek. And Marty, I think a lot of these drivers, as the race goes on, noticing some vibrations, could be tire wear.
Yeah, Kelly, with 2 to go here in the stage, hoping it holds on. Alex Bowman, we showed you the left front from the first run for the 88 car. He radioed in about 10 laps ago. They have a vibration. So, Steve, you want your driver just to hang on here for 2 more laps, right? And hope that vibration doesn't turn into a tire that goes down.
Well, hang on, but I don't know what to tell my driver. They're running around here almost wide open. It's not like you can run slower as we see the final lap here. So Rick, that tire looks odd, but what happens is it wears through, it finally catches the fabric, and it unrounds just like a spool of thread. That's why the tire looks that way. The reason I bring this up is because that was 50 laps for the 8 of Reddick. Because he took the wave around. Remember, this final stage is over 70 laps. All of these cars are going to have to find a way to manage this tire wear.
Kevin Harvick, dominant at Michigan International Speedway, and once again he looks to grab another stage. This will be stage 2 win for Kevin Harvick.
Green checker, good job.
This time in front of Blaney. Hamlin was 3rd, Eric Jones 4th, Brad Keselowski 5th. So it was Ford and Toyota in the top 5. The Heritage Trophy up for grabs. That's the manufacturers. They're in the manufacturers' backyard. Right now, Ford is the one that's looking good, and especially the driver of the 4, Kevin Harvick, sweeping stage 1 and 2. NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. Perfect for race fans. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. And by Coca-Cola. Together tastes better. Peacock, NBC Universal's new streaming service, is filled with hit movies, current shows, sports, news, and exclusive originals, including Dale Earnhardt's Lost Speedway, which is available to stream now. Junior takes us on so many different journeys. All you have to do is join the flock at peacocktv.com.
Yeah, we go to a lot of old racetracks across the country to see what they look like today and learn about their history, learn about what they meant to the communities. A lot of fun. Hope you'll check it out.
I have quite a few of them.
Yeah. Stream all 8 episodes on Peacock. It's free.
All right, we talked about how fast this race is. Saw the pit crews getting ready for the final stage. 69 laps to go. Already 87 have been complete.
Yeah, it's been a sprint, Rick. You know, these drivers can't run the final 69 on fuel, so we'll have to see how the final stage goes. But I mean, you got to think, with only a couple stops, you have to make good adjustments. You just cannot continue to work on your car. I think that's the biggest thing I see with these shorter races is not just the intensity, but how vital each adjustment is. You don't get a lot of chances, Marty.
Ryan Blaney had that terrific battle, Steve, with Kevin Harvick for the lead. He said he's too loose on entry and too tight to run the bottom. This guy he ran the middle when he's battling with Harvick there. Kevin Harvick has been so nonchalant on the radio. Rodney Childers asked him how the car was, said, a little tight, not bad, but obviously dominant so far, leading 33 laps for Kevin Harvick. Going to make a very small air pressure adjustment. And Denny Hamlin says he is too loose back in traffic, and the car is, quote, too edgy back there. And he said at times it feels like the right front just wants to dig in. We saw that in turn 1 where he nearly wrecked it. Kevin Harvick, though, in his pit crew will hold third here on pit road.
Yeah, we saw Harvick able to get by Hamlin, and Hamlin had to negotiate around Keselowski, but Hamlin and Keselowski both gaining spots as well.
Immediately following this race, the NASCAR America post-race show here in the studio with Brad Doherty, Dale Jarrett, myself, followed by the Dale Jr. Download, guest Rodney Childers, and based on the way this race is going, DJ, again, obviously that's already been recorded, but Rodney Childers is definitely sort of the man of the hour along with his driver, Kevin Harvick. Do you expect anything to change in this final stage?
Why would we? Yeah, no, I mean, seriously, they have just been the best. Denny Hamlin has given them a good run, and certainly Ryan Blaney was good there. But this race car, I don't think we've seen everything that Kevin Harvick has in this car yet. He's too smart for these guys, too, on top of all of that.
Yeah, these Stewart-Haas race cars, I mean, they've won 3 of the last 4 races. You can see why. But I was mentioning to DJ that we were listening about Denny Hamlin talking about tightening up his car a little bit back in traffic. That's one of the things that you really don't want to do. You can't have it both ways. You either need the raw speed or the handling, and obviously he needs a little bit more speed. So that 4 car is going to be hard to beat, but the 2 is still lurking.
Yeah, and Ryan Blaney has been fast. Those Penske cars have speed, so we'll have to see what happens. Of course, we will be discussing all about this race, this final stage on the NASCAR America post-race show coming up in just a bit. This race is flying, Rick.
It really is. Thank you, Krista. So we just rode along with the 4 of Kevin Harvick as he went by that choose going. It's really hard to see.
It really is hard to see. Drivers have been talking about that. Remember, this camera, this Hunt Brothers camera, it's above the driver. It's on the roof. Where is it? It's so difficult to see. You already went by it. And that's from the front position on a camera that's higher than the driver's eyes. So that's going to require some attention in the future as far as trying to make it a little bit easier to see. They got those cones out on the fence. See the cones on the left side there? That's also marking it. But the drivers are talking about it. It's very difficult to see.
Let's listen in to the driver of the DeKalb car, Clint Boyer.
I mean, I hate to critique it, but you can't even see that cone. You can't even see it on the track when you're coming at it. You see those 3 cones on the fence, though, don't you? I wasn't looking for it. I was trying to find a cone. I mean, I know general vicinity where it's at, but, like, you can't see it until it's like, here it is.
And again, Greg Zipadelli is on top of the pit box for Boyer this weekend as field approaches the Geico restart zone. This time, Harvick and Hamlin making up row 1. And just 65 laps to go in this race. A sprint. Again, a doubleheader weekend. They'll race again tomorrow afternoon. But right now, it's trying to get the trophy on Saturday.
Again, Denny Hamlin makes that inside line work on this restart with help from his teammate. Eric Jones gave him a great push. Brad Keselowski was behind the 4-car, but now he is mired 3 wide in the middle back, losing lots of spots.
Austin Dillon making it 3 wide. Look at this on the outside. Harvick trying to jump on the outside of the 11.
You got to push down the back straightaway. Eric Jones is wrecking in the middle of the corner.
Harvick's there. Harvick's at the outside. Brad's trying to get up on the outside of the 11 also. Now he's going to go to the bottom.
These restarts are awesome.
You get a run, you take it, right?
Yeah, buddy.
4 wide we saw there as Harvick has taken the lead back. Now Keselowski and Denny Hamlin fighting for that second spot. Keselowski in the 2, Denny Hamlin in the 11, and Ryan Blaney coming right back into the picture in that fluorescent yellow number 12.
1 lap ago, Brad Keselowski was in the middle of 3 wide, running about 8th. Now he's in second, down into turn 3. Here's Eric Jones on the bottom of the racetrack getting loose. Just checks the car a little bit. Good job saving that thing and giving room to those guys on the outside. We got a caution.
Caution's out. The 38 goes around. John Hunter Nemechek.
That's a shame. He had such a good run going earlier in the race.
Back up on the track here.
Was running in the top 15 in the first stage.
The 17, thank you.
That's some words for Chris Buescher there.
Yeah, already he's pointing the finger at Chris Buescher.
And he wasn't really saying thank you, I don't think.
I think there might have been sarcasm in that.
Man, that restart was wild.
Well, it's only going to get wilder, too.
Well, we're on board with Truex right here. The reason I bring that up, look at these. Both these guys, these are the 2 that had flat tires all the way back in the first stage, and they just kept trying to shovel out from underneath it. Reddick in the 8, now back on the lead lap with tires and fuel, and the 19 of Truex will get the wave around.
There you go. You see Buescher on the bottom, just gets up the racetrack and gets into the left rear quarter panel of John Hunter. That's why John Hunter was not happy.
Bottom of 3, get off right here. Marching. Come on. Keep coming. All right, get on down here.
I think Buescher expected the 38 of John Hunter to get up the racetrack a little bit more on that exit, and he didn't, but that's John Hunter's, that's John Hunter's preference to run however he wants off the corner, and it came together, and 17 spun him off the nose. You see the damage right there. Pretty hard contact between those 2 guys. So,
and you see the roof, it bit the hinges that hold the roof. Just the air. That was just the air getting underneath it and just picking it up.
The hood, you mean?
I'm sorry, the hood.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That wasn't a slight misunderstanding, though, with that kind of damage. That was.
I was wondering how y'all were going to go with that, because it's heavy contact.
That was hard contact.
Yeah.
We talked to John Hunter Nemechek earlier this week. He said this year is harder. He ran a few races last year, but he said this is harder because there's no practice, no qualifying, no time on the track. Let's listen into Denny Hamlin's radio.
Chris, I'm doing all I can here. Yeah, I know. I'm a little confused, right, to be honest with you, but we don't quit working here. You know that. Got 67 to go on this one, and then we got a whole night. Therefore.
So what he's talking about there is that he gets pushed out into the lead on that restart and has control of the race, and those guys drive back by him, get the pushes coming from behind. On these restarts, you got to expect that to happen as everybody's bunched up and nose to tail. But he feels like, and we heard him talking about it earlier in the race, that they may be down a little bit of power, down on speed on the straightaways to some of these other cars, and
Chris
that's
Gabehart,
what he's talking about.
Chris Gabehart adding, hey, we're not going to quit working, and we have tonight, meaning they're going to have a chance to look at what they've got going on and see if it makes some changes. Kelly, you got some on Eric?
Yeah, remember Eric Almirola started this race on the 2nd row, and they have just not been going anywhere but back. This car's so bad, they're actually going to pit here to make some big chassis adjustments. Eric actually said, if you have tires, I'll take them, but then Bugger reminding him that was really only 1 green flag lap there. But this thing is so bad, they're going to make some big chassis adjustments for the 10.
We see just over a handful of cars making their way onto pit road. We'll take a quick break and be back for the restart here in Michigan. Check out the greatest selection of t-shirts, hats, die-cast, and much more for all of your favorite drivers. Visit NASCAR.com/shop. Well, Joey Logano's weekend got off to a wild start yesterday. The Penske driver headed out to the Ford Proving Grounds in Romeo, Michigan to test out the all-electric Ford Mach-E 1400. The one-of-a-kind prototype was developed in collaboration with RTR Vehicles, targeting 1,400 peak horsepower and more than 2,300 pounds of downforce. Man, does that look like a lot of fun.
It looks like a lot of fun. What a great-looking car, those aero fins on the front. And how about the sound when he stepped on the gas? You can see the smile on his face. He was having a good time. Tire manufacturers might not love it because I think you have to put a lot of tires on that car.
I was getting ready to say, I hope they have a tire sponsor.
So Joey Logano started off the race up front, has fallen back a couple times, hasn't been the strongest car, but we have definitely seen guys like Kevin Harvick, Ryan Blaney. Those guys have run up front. Denny Hamlin seems to still be searching for something. Do you guys see a favorite in this race?
Well, right now, we talked about it. I think the Fords are the favorites. I think it's either Kevin Harvick or one of the Penske cars. I think most impressed by Denny Hamlin. Guys, this is a tire combination that he hasn't run that well on at other tracks, Kentucky and Texas, but it seems like, while he may not have a winning car yet, Jeff, it seems like he has a car that is close. You mentioned tonight, sit down with your crew chief, make some adjustments. Who knows what Hamlin could be again tomorrow?
Well, somebody that's had a terrible year, but sitting there running in fifth, Kyle Busch. Can Kyle Busch get his car just a little bit better to get his first win of the year? This is the best he's run in a long time on this type of racetrack. So if they can get just a little bit better, I'd keep my eye on him.
What I'm loving today is how wide this racetrack is. These guys are able to run all over the surface of this racetrack in the corner, and that's great for those guys that are faster to have that clean air to be able to get up there and make passes. And we've seen some amazing racing today, and these guys have been aggressive. Also, the choose rule, it's working out, but it's creating some interesting conversations on the radio.
All right, Steve, I want to take a look at today's Ram trucks built to serve. As we pull it up here, you see tire issues. We've seen it on pit road. Marty and Kelly have documented it for quite a few drivers.
Yeah, they're going to have to manage that. They're going to have to manage this choose rule. Which lane? Remember, it's not bad luck anymore. You get to pick which lane you start in. And then, look, we're going to talk about the winner. But tomorrow's lineup, 1st through 20th, gets swapped, inverted from today. So late in this run, if you're in 15th, 16th, 17th, more importantly, 21st,
yeah,
if you can get that 20th position, that's the pole for tomorrow's race.
Watch that fight for 20th. It's hard to say, but yes, it's going to happen, a fight for 20th. Row 1, we saw it there, Harvick and Hamlin, Elliott Keselowski, Jones, Blaney back there in row 3. Back to green flag racing with just 58 laps to go here at Michigan. Steve, still outside of a fuel window, or can they make it?
Still outside. 58 laps to go. We expect they can only go 48 up to 50. So, drivers, this restart very important because you know you have to get that track position in case you have green flag stops.
Kyle Busch, very aggressive, got on the outside of the 12 of Blaney. That's put him in the middle of the corner, right in the middle of 3 wide. Kyle Busch that's the Kyle Busch we're used to seeing. He jumped on the outside, made something happen. Now Blaney's trying to recover.
Clint Boyer, kind of a new player to the party right there in that black and yellow 14 right in front of Blaney. Jimmy Johnson right behind Blaney.
What it comes down to on these restarts is really the pusher in the second row. Brad Keselowski does a great job that time to help the 4 car of Harvick get that lead and get control, and himself in second place. They need to be connected right here, but they weren't. Brad was able to get back to the bumper and keep this 4 car out front, because that inside line, they were tandem down the front straightaway. The 9 car of Chase Elliott in 11. Great work by Brad and the 4 car of Harvick on that restart. That's what's going to be important. We have more restarts getting down into this race. Who does a good job of pushing who?
That's something interesting, too, about this choose rule. As you see Eric Jones now in the middle, is that in the past, you could pick where you wanted the guy in second to be based on your lane. Now you don't know, right? You only can control where you are. You can't control what the guy in second and third and fourth are going to do.
Man, and Chase Elliott filled a hole there that didn't look like there was a hole at all. Right in between the 95 and the 20.
Well, you mentioned the 95 and the 20. 2 cars in the news as the 20 goes up the racetrack. You see the 20 just below the cut line will announce Eric Jones won't be returning to Joe Gibbs Racing next year. The 95 that Christopher Bell drives has been announced. That car will be sold for next year. So we're starting to see some movement as the season wears on.
We know that the 48 driven by Jimmy Johnson, will be vacated at the end of the year. Could potentially Hendrick Motorsports go to a 3-car team? Is that possible?
There's been an online campaign to get Jimmy to run another year, and he's been pretty silent about it.
Blake Shelton, I think, started it.
Yeah. Look at this Christopher Bell, though, taking this 95 car, taking the fight to that 48. Having a great run today.
He wants to try to jump in behind Jimmy Johnson to keep Chase Elliott from jumping on the outside. Chase is going to take the bottom.
Yep.
Eric Jones going with him.
And that's a tough situation for both Chase and Eric. You take that bottom, it's not really the preferred line. Look at Eric down here on the inside of this 9 car. I can't say I got confidence he'll make that pass and probably will lose his position back to the 95 here off turn 2.
You mentioned that 48, though. That would be the driver I would be calling, Rick, because when you look at Eric Jones's numbers, while people may think they're disappointing with only a couple wins, if you compare him to Joey Logano, who drove at Gibbs as well, the car right behind him, you know, he has a pretty impressive resume. I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Joey Logano, but Joey's proved that you can find a home somewhere else and find success. Kelly.
Well, I talked to Jason Ratcliffe, crew chief for the 95 team, about the news of the team being sold. He said everyone has really taken the news pretty well, and team owner Bob Levine hasn't pulled the reins back on them at all. So their goals for this season remain unchanged. And when I asked him where they need to improve, he said it's really just on execution. He said, I feel like if we could finish where we've been running, we'd be in a much better position. So really, it's their racecraft they feel like is pretty strong, but a myriad of mishaps have kept them from getting the finishes they feel like they deserve.
You mentioned strong. These two Fords have been very strong. Again, that Heritage Trophy up for grabs for the manufacturers. Ford, Toyota, and Chevrolet, and right now it's Ford that's looking strong.
Yeah, this is impressive. Brad Keselowski able to hang in here with Kevin Harvick. When this race started, Brad's car wasn't driving good at all. He was fading back. They made some adjustments to help him on the short run. We'll see if he has anything on the long run as we get further into this.
Brad, a lot of confidence after last week. Kind of dominated that race. That's the first race they've just gone and taken control of. And now, sitting here putting pressure on Kevin Harvick. Has to feel like this team has to feel like they're starting to get their feet underneath them. Remember, a brand new team, brand new group of people together this year. Marty.
Hey, Jeff, Brad Keselowski, obviously from Michigan. We've talked a lot about that and would love to win at this racetrack. Oh, caution.
Yeah, round again goes John Hunter Nemechek, and it is not the day that he was hoping for. Left rear tire is down. And so the caution has come out once again, 5th caution of the day.
He needs to be very careful going backwards down the racetrack like that. NASCAR frowns heavily upon that. He didn't go very far, so he might be okay. I know why he did it. Doesn't want to drive around on flat tires.
Yeah, he's got more than one flat, so that's...
Yep, right rear.
Right rear, and no, the left rear's down.
Rick, remember that fuel conversation
yes.
I had earlier? And you asked me about the window, and I tell you the drivers lied to us. Well, they said 46 to, not the drivers, let me rephrase that. The crew chiefs perhaps don't give me all the information. 46 to 48 is what we projected. I would imagine with 50 to go, that's what we call close enough at this point.
Busy?
Yeah, busy on pit road as we see the 38 making repairs.
To be clear, Steve, the drivers aren't going to give you every bit of information either.
I don't even ask them anymore.
Let's listen into Keselowski's communications.
It'll be 50 when you get back. We're about, by the time you get back, you're about 4 laps away from the window here. I think you got a pit.
There you go. The window is accurate. He's 4 laps away, so that'd be lap 46. The bulletin says, you see here the reluctancy, right? I think you have to pit. What he's saying is, I know we're short, but we can make it up on yellows. And more importantly, I think everyone is going to try to gamble. So I know we're 4 short, but you can't just say, well, we can't make it and stay out because you will be behind the entire field. So I expect everyone to come down pit road at this point. And then it's just how those last 50 play out. What kind of race are we going to see? Is it going to be one green flag run where you have to manage that fuel? Will it be restarts? Will it be cautions?
And who puts on tires? I mean, tires haven't been a lot on speed, but
yeah,
big
butt.
Yeah,
big butt.
We've seen tires cording.
Yeah.
So are you going to put on tires? Are you brave enough not to put on tires, or even just do 2?
Here they come onto pit road. They're headed right at you, Marty.
And the interesting thing here, Rick, the top three literally are on pit stall number 1, number 2, and number 3. We'll see how they orchestrate this and if everyone can play cleanly here. Obviously, Kevin Harvick will hit his stall first, but a little bit further back, obviously, in front of him, Denny Hamlin and Brad Keselowski. Harvick saying the car just a little bit tight. Harvick's going to go left side tires here only is a call for him. And further back, Kyle Busch, fuel only. So a lot of different strategy here. Meanwhile, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, both with 4 fresh Goodyear tires and adjustments.
Big strategy plays for quite a few teams here. Kyle Busch, Eric Jones, others not taking tires. This is why we're under caution. John Hunter Nemechek, around he goes with a flat tire and into the grass. It's the Firekeepers Casino 400 from Michigan International Speedway, and field coming up on the choose rule as they will decide inside or outside for this next restart. Could it be the final restart? There'll be 47 to go, actually 46 when they get the green flag. So they'll veer left and right here. Harvick's going to go to the bottom and quite a few go to the top. Looks like Austin Dillon has chose the bottom as well. Very difficult to see right now as that's in the shade, and so these drivers all making their decisions as to which lane they want to start in.
Yeah, so Austin was 7th, and with that move he should restart around 3rd.
Okay, so we talk about the athletes that are not only behind the wheel but also that are pitting these teams. Take a look at this move right here by the Jackman. That's Dylan Moser. Wow.
That is amazing. I mean, carrying a 25, 35-pound jack, planning and getting up over the right front fender because he couldn't go out any farther. He saw the blue car. I think it was the 42 coming in. Yeah, it's some tight quarters for the pit crew guys.
They should play that video for anyone that wants to be a crew member.
Yeah.
You know, do you really want to do this? These guys, you know, it's amazing the bravery that they have. Amazing athletes on top of that.
So, Rick, you talked about the choose rule. We keep chatting it up about the opportunities, but we said, listen, this is going to put some more pressure, a little pressure on the radio of the one while they're talking about the choose.
We'll just go to lane that's shorter. I messed up the first time.
I'm not saying you messed up. I think you got bad information. That's all.
All right, here's the deal. Chip, I would appreciate it if you could just listen to us. If you want to critique us, wait till the race is over, please. Let's get back focused. Let's do what we're here to do.
That was a frustrated driver, and then an owner, and then a crew chief. You know, when you add something into the mix, it kind of gets on everybody a little bit.
And we see frustrations running a little bit high here, but Kyle Busch, we'll see if the decision not to take tires is going to work out for the 18 as he's getting a little push there from teammate Eric Jones. They are going to clear the 4, at least the 18 will. Now the 4 of Kevin Harvick battling back on the inside.
Yeah, I'm real surprised by the lack of organization behind those guys. A lot of room between every car.
Look at the spots Kevin Harvick's going to lose by being on the bottom of the racetrack. Lost that momentum. Let's see if Martin Truex Jr. can carry that speed into turn 3. Harvick to the bottom. That is a power move, being able to make that. Kevin Harvick's car is incredible. Now battling for the lead.
Truex back there around the outside of his teammate. Eric Jones for 3rd has a run on this 4 car. He's going to push Harvick. Instead of going to the inside, Harvick's going to go to the inside.
For the lead, Kevin Harvick. One stage 1, one stage 2, and now back out front.
That's such a tough decision if you're Truex. You had the run.
Pretty much all day. Good judge.
You had the run. Do you take it? He pushed the 4 car up there, and he took it.
So Kyle Busch now without getting tires, is that why we're seeing the 4 able to get by him so easily?
I don't believe so. I haven't seen tires been a huge advantage. We thought it was earlier with Blaney. I even was kind of on board with tires being better, but as we've seen this race play on, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think this is just a good 4 car, but the question mark I have is we know what the 4 has, or we think we do. The 18 we also think we do. But the 3rd guy in line, Martin Truex Jr., has spent the majority of his day trying to get his lap back from a flat tire earlier. Here he is pressuring his teammate. Marty, I want to know how good this 19 car is.
I think everybody wants to know in the field how good that 19 car could be because, to your point, Steve, he's been in the back all day long. But up front, Kyle Busch just in front of him. And hey, Steve, if you're Adam Stevens as Truex stalls on that wheel, you got to love that call right there to go fuel only for Kyle Busch. Listen, the team needs a shot in the arm. Kyle needs a little confidence, honestly, at this point to be up front. Lead a restart, now running second with 43 to go. That's good stuff for Kyle Busch and the 18 team.
You know, you just got to keep firing, Rick. You can't stop trying to gamble. I know it would be easy for this 18 team to say, look, we don't have a win. We got to make sure we're in the playoffs. What I'm seeing by this pit call is, forget that. Like, we're a winning race team. We're not worried about points.
They're champions.
Right? At some point, you have to convince yourself of that. And what I'm seeing here is a team that believes they are champions.
We'll take a look at the Toyota driver update as we see Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., and Eric Jones. Joe Gibbs Racing trio up there. Second, third, and fourth. Christopher Bell running eighth. And Denny Hamlin in the 10th position. Kelly.
Well, while everyone was wondering what kind of a car Martin Truex Jr. has, he came over the radio to say he got a little bit loose there. I can also tell you that they've gone in a completely different direction in terms of the car they brought here versus their other three teammates. Crew Chief James Small basically said, I kind of feel like we're the black sheep, but it's really set up for the feel that Martin is looking for the car and what they've been able to do with these tires at other racetracks. But he kind of said, we could find out who's right or who's wrong. But then again, Steve, I guess there's more than one way to skin a cat, right?
Well, that's it. I mean, Kelly, you know, it's so easy to think that all of these guys go about it the same way and there's just a correct race car, but that's not the case. I think that's why you see certain organizations have a standout car. It was that way when I was at Hendrick Motorsports. I knew what Jimmy Johnson had. We tried it. It wouldn't work for Jeff Gordon. We needed different aerodynamic setups for Jeff to be successful. So what James Small is doing, I actually applaud. It takes a lot of courage for a first-year crew chief to come to an organization like Gibbs and say, you know what, I know Hamlin has won a lot, but Denny Hamlin's not my race car driver. Martin Truex Jr. is. Whether it works or not, I applaud the first-year guy. That's a tough call to make.
Is there a baseline that you can go off, though? I mean, a setup that you say, okay, what if we start here?
Well, actually, no. I think that it's a foundational package. You have to match the downforce with the mechanical grip. You know, yes, there may be a few foundational things, but there's probably way more different than the same. You see James on the left side of the screen. I'm going to tell you, guys, we talk to a lot of people during the week. Is it not a blast to talk to James Small every week? He is just having a great time.
Yeah. Marty.
Hey guys, how about Austin Dillon in the 6th spot right now? We're out there, obviously, with the playoff spot locked in. Justin Alexander making the call for fuel only. And they've run maybe better than they have at Michigan in quite a while. So Austin Dillon having a nice top 6 run. We're right on board with Brad Keselowski trying to get that 6th spot from Austin Dillon. And they would love to gain some more playoff points and move themselves into a better position once the playoffs begin here in about 4 weeks.
All right, want to listen into Keselowski's radio.
All right, right now with average mileage, our fortune is 0. Worst case, we're -1.
All right, so basically there you have it. Worst case, we're a lap short. Perfect case, we're dead on the number. Rick, NASCAR nonstop, could you hit me my Tums?
Yes,
I feel
I
a little
can.
bad for all these crew chiefs.
Let's hear it for Kansas City Monarch legend Jim Robinson.
Celebrate your history together. The all-new Highlander. Toyota, let's go places.
We made USAA insurance for veterans like Liz and Mike, an Army family who's always at the ready. So when they got a little surprise, they didn't panic. They got a bigger car for their soon-to-be bigger family. After shopping around for insurance, they called USAA, who helped find the right coverage for them and even some much-needed savings.
That was the easy part.
USAA insurance is made the way Liz and Mike need it. Easy. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
Awesome internet. It's more than just fast. It keeps all your devices running smoothly. With built-in security that protects your kids, no matter what they're up to. Protects your info and gives you 24/7 peace of mind. That if it's connected, it's protected.
Here, want a treat?
Even that pet camera thingy. Can your internet do that? Xfinity XFi can, because it's simple, easy, awesome.
Xfinity, proud premier partner of NASCAR.
We could never do what they do, but what we can do is be a partner that never quits. Verizon is the most reliable network in America, built for interoperability and puts first responders first, giving their calls priority 24/7. We do what we do best, so they can too.
Second half of the season. This stretch of road has always been tough. You've got to earn it every week. And this year, it means even more. NASCAR on NBC and NBCSN. The best racing is now.
It's golf's first major this season, the PGA Championship. And we'll bring you comprehensive coverage right from TPC Harding Park. Live from the PGA Championship, all this week on Golf.
Today's aerial coverage brought to you by Geico as we watch the 4 of Kevin Harvick make his way around the racetrack. Has a 1.2-second lead over Kyle Busch, who's running second. But again, it's a doubleheader weekend. Back in action tomorrow right here at Michigan International Speedway, starting at 4 o'clock Eastern, again right here on NBCSN. William Byron in the 24 there. You see him without a car around him, but it wasn't that way earlier.
24 gets a big run on the 42. He tries to go to the inside of the 37. I don't know if he catches the bumper of the 37, or the 37 just kind of has the wiggle with the block. Marty.
Yes, he just hasn't been the day William Byron and Chad Canals kind of hoped for. They've been running around the 10th position for a lot of the day, but right now sitting in the 15th spot. And as it sits right now, they will lose 7 points to Eric Jones, who's having a terrific day. So I'm just wondering what that bubble battle is like, drivers. You're watching the guys you know you're going to have to battle over the next few weeks, but Byron right now stands to lose about 7 points to Eric Jones.
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking. Steve mentioned wanting the Tums to decide whether to pit or not here in a little bit. Well, the driver's going to have to deal with that too. Every single race, every single lap. You know, if you don't make the playoffs, it is a disappointing season. There's just no way around that.
One of the things about running a doubleheader is the field will be inverted from the 20th position. So if you're running 20th right well at the end of the race, you start on the pole. So you've got to look at that right now. William Byron running 15th. And then back from him, Kurt Busch, Matt DiBenedetto, Bubba Wallace, and Tyler Reddick back there, as well as Cole Custer running in the 20th position.
Brad Keselowski trying to get around Chase Elliott down the front straightaway, side drafting both of these guys. There you see Chase battling back on the outside for 5th position. Brad has to get out of gas a little bit right there.
Wow.
It's real flat. That bottom lane is really flat. Well, look at this mess.
Oh,
these guys, ever since the restart, it seems like have been in one big knot, and they've all been trading spots back and forth. One guy will lead, then he'll go all the way back, lose 4 or 5 spots. It's intense racing right here.
I'm a little surprised by a couple cars in this mix right here. I thought the 10 of Eric Almirola would have a better day. He's at the back, the last car in this pack. You know, hasn't really been a factor all day long, running outside the top 20.
9 top 10s in a row for Eric Almirola, and that right now is in jeopardy.
Well, Clint Boyer, we saw him back there. See him on the very bottom at the very back of the screen. He was running top 5, top 6 a little bit ago, early in the race, and now he's back here.
Matty D in the 21. I actually thought today was the day. We were looking through some of the numbers. 11 wins for the Wood brothers at Michigan with some huge names. They got our teammate Dale Jarrett, his first career win.
The
Pearson,
first win here was by the Wood brothers.
Yeah, we got Pearson's gone victory lane with him. You know, some big names. I thought maybe Matty D could break through, get his first win, but just doesn't seem to have it yet.
They're searching for win number 100. The Wood brothers are.
On the other side of that, those were on board with Ryan Newman right here. Cars that are having really good days. I look at time and scoring. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. running 12th. What a solid day. JTG has had such a rough go here lately.
Breath of fresh air for JTG Doherty, because they had finished last in the 4 previous races. One of their cars had finished last. They finally turned that around, and like you said, a better run today here at Michigan.
Look at this car on the very bottom of the racetrack. I believe that's Eric Almirola. I can't really tell. I've been watching. He is so loose. Look at the back of the car. jumping all around. That's why they're running back here. You know, they don't have that grip. What did Eric Amarello tell us the other day? That running back here is way more difficult than when your car's good and you're running in the front. It's so much more work.
Yeah, he said outside the top 10, it is most difficult he has as far as what he has to do as a driver. Kelly.
Eric Jones in that 20, losing a position potentially there to Chase Elliott. We talked about that playoff bubble. Well, coming into this race, Eric Jones was 31 points below the playoff cut line, and his crew chief, Chris Gale, told me he didn't really think there were enough races left for them to point their way into it. So he said he was going to get very aggressive and really start going for the win. So they were one of those cars that took fuel only on the last stop, and they've had a little conversation about what that means for the rest of this race. Have a listen.
Remember, we're going to race this smart. Stay in line unless we clear. I'm trying to get a gap here. I got you. I know what you're doing. Just letting you know.
To let you know, we should be all good by 2 laps. The fours are going to be real close to making it, so we don't want to give them any breathing room. If we can pressure them, we're going to do it.
Okay, so it sounds like they should be good to go on fuel, but I mentioned the points. Well, as they run right now, he's gone from 31 points below to just 7, so it'll be curious if moving forward that changes things for crew chief Chris Gale.
Tums, Steve, is that what you're looking for now with the caution, or is this pretty much cut and dried what you're going to do?
Oh, John Hunter needs to check his head up.
Yeah, it's been a
bad day.
Terrible day.
So, well, no. So now the situation is I think this yellow will gain everybody what they're looking for fuel, because riding around slow, you save some fuel. We have not seen tires be worth a lot on speed. I mean, look on the left side of your screen. 2 tires, no tires. That's what's currently leading the race. All the guys with 4 tires are still at the bottom. The question is, can your tires make it? Can they make an entire fuel run? Because if you're out of gas, that means you stretch the Goodyear tires to their limit.
So we've seen tires get close to their limit today.
We have. We have seen the 8 of Tyler Reddick have a right rear tire. We've seen some left fronts come off cars that haven't looked great. And I want to go out there and say, listen, that's what Goodyear's should do. They've built a tire that runs basically to the limit of fuel. I don't like when tires are just bulletproof and you can run them forever. I know drivers, you don't love to have tires wear out, but I'd rather have a tire wear out than fail, right? I mean, Dale Jr., you know when the rubber's gone, you feel it from behind the wheel.
Yeah, drivers want a tire that's going to have fall off, that's going to start fast and end slow. And you're going to have comers and goers, guys that have a better balanced car at the end of the run, better ease of passing and so forth. But this tire's, you know, it hasn't been extremely bulletproof. We've seen some guys make some tires make a difference. But we've also seen guys like the 11 of Hamlin and Blaney not being able to drive back up through the field. They're trying to get back inside the top 5 to try to, they had race-winning cars earlier in this race, and now they're stuck back there in the backside of the top 10.
Yeah,
so,
Brad Keselowski, he's the first one. He's made it back up to 6. He put 4 tires on. That's as far as anyone's gotten.
So, Rick, I know the choose rule is new this week for where you line up on the restart. Well, for my whole life, this was the choose rule right here. Coming around the first time pit road is open, you either take a left or you take a right. Matter of fact, there was an orange box there you couldn't go over either. So this whole choose thing has been going on for years, but just now it has to do with the restart.
The lane choice is what the new rule is.
Really here.
And here we go. Logano is going to bring Blaney with him onto pit road.
And no one else.
Oh, that's lonely. Very lonely.
Yeah. You like to think when you come down pit road, you're going to pull all those guys down pit road with you, Marty.
Yeah, not a lot of cars making this move with Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney, and Blaney did not go anywhere once they put on those 4 Goodyear tires last time, so they can take another swing at it handling-wise here for Blaney. He's been loose on the bottom for much of the day for that 12 car and come down pit road. But you guys mentioned it, very few takers under this caution. We'll see how this plays out with a lot of drivers staying out.
13.5 seconds changing 4 tires and adding fuel to that number 12. Pretty impressive. Kevin Harvick leading here at Michigan.
Sunday dinner has always been special. These days, it's just nice to have something to look forward to. Well, break out the good plates and tell the kids to wash up. Because it's Sunday dinner. Even if it isn't necessarily Sunday.
People used to care. Heck, they'd come all the way out here just for a blurry photo of me.
Oh, that's a good one.
Wait, what's that?
That's just a low battery warning.
Oh, right.
Now it's all, check out my RV and let's go four-wheeling. Maybe there's a little part of me that wanted to be seen.
Well, Progressive helps people save when they bundle their home with their outdoor vehicles. So they've got other things to do now, Bigfoot.
Wait, what did you just call me?
Bigfoot?
My name is Daryl.
When you eat Reese's for dessert, is it over too fast? Well, then chill your Reese's. You'll eat it slower. I wouldn't know. I swallow mine whole. Like a duck. Not sorry. Reese's.
Today tastes like staying in. Like our go-to place. Tastes like anticipating.
Honey, could you help me with this?
And a little bit like waiting. Food's here. Today tastes like a piece of the action. And it never tasted this good.
We miss you. It's totally not the same without you. We're finally back and can't wait until you are too. Universal Orlando Resort. Buy now and get 2 days free at the parks. Restrictions apply.
16 teams remain. One mission: to lift Lord Stanley's Cup. There's nothing like playoff hockey. The Stanley Cup Playoffs first round on the networks of NBC.
And tomorrow, Cup Series countdown to green at 4 o'clock. Racing. That's the second race from right here at Michigan International Raceway, 4:30. NASCAR America post-race show at 7:30. And elimination NHL hockey. It's Game 5. Columbus versus Toronto. That's at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Kevin Harvick out in front of the field here at Michigan. He won stage 1. He's won stage 2. Harvick has already been dominant in 2020. 4 wins.
See Kevin Harvick getting a drink of water right here. Tell you what these drivers and teams are going to be asked to do over the next month is really going to be amazing. 5 races until the playoffs, but look, we have a race tomorrow for Michigan, so that's a doubleheader. Daytona Road Course we have never seen. Doubleheader at Dover, and then we head to Daytona. I mean, a restrictor plate race to try to figure out the playoffs. Not only is the pressure and intensity real, but the physical exertion these drivers are going to be asked to do, these teams are going to be asked to do. 7 races in a month. We already heard the radio of the intensity about the choose rule. That's one more thing thrown on top of this. Guys, I think this is going to be one of the toughest stretches these teams are going to ever see in the regular season.
Oh, I don't think we've seen anything like this before. And you know, when you start thinking about who's going to get playoff points and who can make the playoffs and who can't, and you've got some races in there that we could see some surprise winners completely throw the whole playoff lineup completely out of whack. So yeah, I think you're right, Steve. We're in uncharted territory with a schedule like this.
Yeah, this doubleheader here at Michigan with these shorter races doesn't mean that the drivers aren't wearing themselves out. It's one of the worst races that I've ever had as far as being physically ill afterwards. Was a 50-lap IROC race here in Michigan. Way back in 1999, I'd never been so wore out. I think I held my breath off 50 laps. But so these guys have got it tough today. They got to regroup, get fluids, get something in their body so they can go back at it tomorrow.
The high line for Harvick. Marty.
Hey, Rick, the guys a moment ago were talking about the intensity here this afternoon in Michigan. It's been pretty calm here in Kevin Harvick's pit. Harvick trying to stay undefeated with this race car. It was brand new at Indianapolis. They took it to Victory Lane in the Brickyard 400, and also trying to stay undefeated today. He won stage 1, as you guys mentioned, stage 2, trying to get his 3rd win in the last 4 Michigan races, Kelly.
Well, what a turnaround it's been for Martin Truex Jr. and this 19 team. Remember, they had contact early in the race, a flat tire. They had to come pit under green and win a lap down. It took them the majority of this short race to get back in contention. Suddenly, Truex lines up third. He said he just didn't have the speed to hold the bottom, so I should say he's lined up on the top side. for this restart. Truex, a runner-up here in Michigan, looking for his first win.
Guys, I think something interesting with this choose rule that we have, Martin Truex Jr. is one of them. There's 3 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas lined up behind Kevin Harvick. Could they decide that they're going to, if Harvick picks the top, they all go to the bottom and try to push Kyle Busch past the 4 car of Kevin Harvick? Is that the only way that Kevin Harvick can be beaten today? That option is out there for them if they want to try something like that.
Well, it would be a great camera to ride along to see how they choose behind.
Rick, I mean, Jeff, I like your strategy right there. Line them up, right? 3 of them in a row. Unfortunately, I think it'd be a bad call for the 3rd one.
Yes, it would.
Keep saving here. I think they're going to blow it one more time to get it farther off the track.
Oh.
So we're 20 to go right now.
So we're hearing they're going to continue to try to clean the track. It sounds like something was dropped on the back straightaway. Not exactly sure what, and a lot of dust and debris being cleaned up.
But again, the reason that this race started just a little bit later is because of the Xfinity Series race that was running at Elkhart Lake at Road America, and it was a late tire strategy. This last restart, Austin Cindric able to hold off A.J. Allmendinger and get the win. So Road America working out very well for young Austin Cindric.
This is Menards country. These are Menards people. This is awesome that we can get this Menards Ford Mustang victory lane. Richmond Water Heaters, they've been a big supporter of ours as well. So just so excited. I mean, that's 4 wins on the year, and obviously extend the points lead somewhat. But man, I'm over the moon. This car was perfect from the get-go. You know, we overheated our rain tires there a little bit. I don't know if you guys watched that battle between me and Justin Haley, but that was like the highlight of my year. I mean, I don't even know what position we were racing for. It was so much fun. But thankful for our partners, Money Lion, Roush H Engines, all the guys that make this happen for us.
Big wins for Austin Cindric already this year, and you can see how excited he was. You weren't able to hear that, obviously, at the end of the race because we came right here and started this one, so we wanted to make sure that you heard that victory lane interview for Austin Cindric, and a big win for them.
I was jealous of you, Jeff. You got to call that final restart, and it was chaotic.
It was. What a good race. It was a short race like this race, right? You don't have time to mess around, and it was fun. Right from the green flag, they went at it.
As these guys are coming, I want to say, will Joe Gibbs Racing, will they try to work together here when they come up to the choose?
Well, let's look at this shot. This Hunt Brothers Pizza Cam.
Want to go and choose here. Right,
if they do it, it's you know, I suggested it, but it's a difficult thing to do because, like Steve said, the guy, look, they all went to the top. So every one of them, Eric Jones was running fourth, and he picked the top. That's going to line him up 8th.
Chase
on this
Elliott.
restart.
Yeah, Chase was 5th. He's going to be on the front row of the restart. This is exactly what NASCAR hoped for with this choose rule.
And all these cars back here that may or may not come on pit road, you know, it's not just the front 3. Why, they're the easiest to see, Junior, right? All through the, does your car good in the bottom? Is it good on the top? Who are you around? It just gives you options.
Look at Brad Kay. Look at how far up the racetrack, how far up the lineup Brad Keselowski's going to be right here.
Also, if you know that thing's hard to see, I'd wait till the very last second to make my move, to hopefully drag somebody across that dash. Get them sent to the tail end.
There you go.
Now strategy of hiding the choose area.
Yeah, I couldn't be more proud. What a great, I was like, that's the best thing I've ever heard. I love it.
Okay, so can Chase Elliott take advantage of this track position?
So here you have it. You mentioned it. Kevin Harvick stayed where he was. He was number 1, but Chase Elliott up 3, Brad up 2. And because they chose the top, that put Truex and Jones back a couple, Denny Hamlin. Not a lot of movement back there, but that's big movement inside the top 5. If Chase Elliott somehow clears Kevin Harvick, it's going to be big. Look right here. Chase Elliott says, well, I didn't really love the bottom, but if nobody's down there, I'm going to have to give it a go, right? If you could start on the front row, how could you turn it down?
And he's got Brad Keselowski, one of the best pushers behind him in that row. That's key as well.
And maybe if he clears Kevin Harvick and the caution comes out, he's got the lead.
We'll see what happens. They're coming back for the restart. Harvick on the outside, Chase Elliott on the inside. They fan out as they go into 1.
Brad Keselowski is about to turn that 9 car sideways. He's pushing him so hard.
Kyle Busch on the outside, making it 3 wide.
Momentum on the high side. Kevin Harvick is going to fall back to 3rd.
Look who's in the lead, Chase Elliott. And Brad Keselowski falling like a rock after helping the 9 car up to the front.
And how about Christopher Bell in the 95? He's running up here in the top 6.
I am shocked at Kevin Harvick, how he lost those spots through 1 and 2, but then's able to drive in 3 on the bottom and just clear them.
Chase Elliott only has the chance to lead this race because he had the chance to line up on the front row. Will it pay off with 17 to go?
And right now, Kevin Harvick, we've seen how good he is, but they're all lined up right behind him. So when he gets to Chase Elliott, if he can't clear him, then everybody will try to get on the outside of him and get around him. So now, while there's a gap, is a great opportunity for Kevin Harvick to try to make this move.
And Jeff, we have seen Kevin Harvick dive down to the bottom of the racetrack and slide on by when he wants to pass someone, to take the lead. Will he do it again? Is that another move now that everybody's seen that Harvick's going to dive low to clear you?
We've seen him take the lead earlier in the race on the outside with runs from the outside. He dives up into this traction compound, full throttle. He's going to have an awesome run off the corner. He needs to be a little bit closer to be able to do something with it off turn 2. Here comes the run down the straightaway. He's going to have to go into turn 3. Try to take this high side. Oh, wow. Follows the 9 right into the corner. Doesn't have to lift.
He got tight, though. You saw the wheel. He had to put wheel in it. When he got that close, he had to really turn the car a lot.
Here he comes again, another run.
Oh, big run. Is he going to take it? Is he going to turn left right here? Decided not to.
I think he needs to be a little closer on corner exit to be able to have to take that run.
Well, I think he knows he has to be able to clear him because just behind him are 2 other Toyotas. So if you get to the inside of the 9 and it doesn't work, they're going to get to the outside of you.
Absolutely, Steve.
You know, if you pull out a line, it better work.
Here you go. He's right there.
Now, there's no risk to pull down in the middle of the corner with no pressure behind you. But a corner X entry, if you're going to not take the preferred line, which is the high line for these 2, you have better clear the 9 car.
Watch Kevin Harvick's eyes. See that look? He's trying to understand where Kyle Busch is. How far behind is Kyle Busch? That's helping him make a decision on when to make this move. He knows that he...
Oh, he's close.
Let's see right here. He'll have a big run down the back straightaway. He's going to glance in his mirror. Oh, where's Kyle?
Caution comes out.
Here, Kevin, yellow's out.
Another restart, another choice to choose.
So there you have it. Chase Elliott picked the bottom, right? He had a choice. He picked the bottom. He took the lead, and the caution comes out. Now he can pick whatever lane he wants from the front. So that gamble that he made completely paid off.
Take a look for the reason.
Ryan Preece gets contact from the 8.
Just as we had mentioned, how JTG Jordy had been running so much better last week and this week. This happens for Ryan Preece.
So, Rick, normally I'm vocal about not throwing yellows when I don't believe they need to be. At a short track, you could continue way too fast to keep this under green. You have no idea what debris came off the 37. I know people aren't going to like that because there wasn't a car backwards, but I completely agree with NASCAR there because, you know, you can't have a flat tire at these sort of speeds. Richmond, I would be critical, right? That's something at Richmond I'd like to see stay green.
13 to go. Yep, have a big old drink of water there, Alan.
I don't know who made the call for the 9, or whether that's just chasing the seat saying, I'm going to take the bottom. I don't know if they have a plan. This rule's new for all of us, but
I'm telling you, how could you turn down the opportunity on that front row coming from 5th? Kelly.
Yeah, I talked to crew chief Alan Gustafson about the new choose rule, and he said, I really like this. He said, we're just going to give Chase the information, leave it up to him to decide. But what he likes about it is he said Chase is pretty daring in his lane choices at time. At least he was when we saw it at Bristol. He said, you have to have the car to make it work. Well, obviously, just then it did. He wasn't afraid to go to the non-preferred lane and ended up with the lead.
Reason Allen loves it.
Will it work out again for Chase Elliott? He'll have to choose here when we come back. This was Chevy. Coming up after the race, NASCAR America post-race show. That's Krista, Big Brad, and DJ. And then Dale Jr. Download. Rodney Childers will be on that after the NASCAR America post-race show this evening. All right, Chase Elliott's up front, but he hasn't had the best history here of restarts.
No, this is back in 2016. You see just cannot accelerate off the front row, loses the position. It happens again later that year where he was unable to beat Larson.
Yeah, just getting a bad push here from behind, and that's what's going to happen today. Either going to get a good push or a bad one. Here's 2017 on the inside, not the preferred line. Larson's able to take that car and drive down into turn 1 around the outside of this 24 car and take the position.
You guys aren't getting a lot of positive vibes to Chase Elliott.
All right, I got another one then. You want a positive one?
Oh, here we go.
We've seen the choose one time in Cup. It was the All-Star race at Bristol for $1 million. Chase Elliott won it.
Guess who won?
There you go. Do I feel better now?
Well, here we go. We saw the Toyotas all picked the outside lane a little while ago. Now, starting back in 3rd place, there's 5 of them lined up together. Let's see where Kevin Harvick goes. Is he going to go with Chase Elliott or go to the bottom?
And multiple times today. Multiple times today, that inside line has worked.
Well, if you're Denny Hamlin, we'll put it this way: whoever can start on the front row, top. If you can start on the front, oh no, Kyle Busch says he wants to win.
But Kyle normally passes guys on the top, so this would be rare if he's able to make it work.
No, but to Jeff's point, I saw 3 Toyotas. I saw Kyle Busch go down there, and 2 other Toyotas followed him. I have no idea if that was a plan or just good fortune. But hopefully they can get organized. At least if you're Kyle Busch, you hope they can get organized.
Well, I think Kyle Busch did 100% the right thing. I mean, this gives you the best chance to win the race. Now, it also gives you a chance to run 12th. But, we just saw Chase Elliott pull it off. So you got to go try it.
Does Denny Hamlin push him, or does Denny Hamlin go for win number 6?
Denny Hamlin's going to push him as hard as he can. You know why? Because that's going to help Denny Hamlin.
Right.
I just don't know if it will, because we saw Brad Keselowski on that inside on 3rd, start 3rd and push the 9 car into the lead and then drop like a rock. Look where Brad is right now. I think Denny's in the worst position, I guess, of the top 4, the top 6.
The problem with Denny is if he tries to jump on the bottom of the 18, he's going to be 3 wide on the bottom.
He can't do that.
That's not going to work, so he has no choice but to push.
My favorite graphic, because I was getting a headache trying to figure this all out. Now we have this very simple graphic. Chase Elliott obviously stays in the lead. Kyle Busch up 1, Harvick back. Denny Hamlin, look farther down though. Christopher Bell decided to run up top. He lost a couple spots. Will Ryan Blaney's gamble of going to the bottom pay off?
I like the choice for the 18. I don't feel confident for the 11, 20, anyone else on that inside line. They're going to have to be aggressive to figure out how to make that work.
Surprising to say this, but Kyle Busch in position to win his first race of the season. He is starting on the inside of row 1. Chase Elliott on the outside as they come through the restart zone. Green flag back in the air. 9 laps to go at Michigan.
All right, both lines are tandem, but the inside line's making some gains here down into turn 1. You know Kyle's going to commit in the throttle.
And Harvick jumping on the outside, Chase Elliott.
I'd be telling Denny if I was a spotter, look, clear behind the 9, clear behind the 9, get in that line. Now that 20's going to fill that spot.
How far will Denny Hamlin fall? And can Kyle Busch hold off Kevin Harvick? Harvick to the bottom of the racetrack for the lead.
This is where Harvick's been so strong on restarts. Turns 3 and 4.
Oh! Contact's made. The 18 up, almost into the wall. Harvick goes by.
Wow.
Stay top here. Don't get fanned in the mid. Outside 20.
You have to wonder how much damage is on the right front of Kevin Harvick's car. Chase it. I can promise you Kyle Busch is not happy right now, nor should he be.
Under 8 to go. Chase Elliott now chasing after the 4 of Kevin Harvick. Did I see a little smoke back behind him? Maybe tire smoke.
Yeah, on the Austin Dillon car. Here's the contact. I don't know if there was contact. If there wasn't, it was awful close.
You heard Kevin out of the gas.
Clear.
But you're right. I'm not sure they did make contact.
Yeah, the green car has a terrible left front tire rub.
Caution's out.
Big contact for the 41.
Yep, Cole Custer has hit the wall hard. The back of that car destroyed.
My goodness.
Take it to the garage.
Cole Custer already with a win this year. Got his first win at Kentucky in phenomenal fashion. Passing the veterans on the outside. A late restart. So he's locked into the playoffs. The only problem is he won't finish this race.
There's a replay for Cole. Oh, he's back here already, backed into the fence. Can't see. Looked like obviously the right rear tire was down. Don't know if that's what caused the spin. If there was contact on that restart, it resulted in a flat right rear tire.
So now this 41 reminds me, remember, doubleheader. We got to race again tomorrow. Obviously, he's not going to be able to race that car. They'll go to a backup. But all this other beating and banging and the sheet metal crinkling, these are cars that have to be raced again. Although with 7 to go, I'm not sure any of the drivers care. I don't think I blame them.
All right, let's see if there was contact with the 4 and 18. Nope.
Nope, never touched.
Yeah. It don't take much, though, to upset the cars around, and that shows you fans at home that the air off these cars can really do some crazy things.
You heard Kevin Harvick out of the throttle. He's lifting, thinking they were going to hit.
Let's listen to Harvick.
Misjudged that 18 a little bit there. Barely touched him, but my fault. Second 4.
Yeah, so he thinks he might have touched him.
Well, that's how close they got. Like I said, you could hear him out of the throttle, but from those shots we have, there was not contact.
So I know that Kevin Harvick, here's another look at it. See how close. I mean, it's close.
And I'm going to say no.
Doesn't look like it, does it? Man, that's close.
So what I was getting ready to say is, so we know Kevin Harvick drove back to the lead, but this is 2 restarts in a row that the bottom has led off turn 2.
Yeah.
Chase Elliott did it and Kyle Busch did it. So now, I mean, does Kevin Harvick dare choose the bottom?
No way. I don't think so. I mean, even though we've seen that bottom prevail down into turn 1 with a good push from 3rd place, it has been a sitting duck after another lap or 2. They're not the leader. So
maybe he pulls what Junior was talking about earlier, and he waits just for the last second because he's got Chase behind him, and he dives down low, and Chase will think, what's going on? And he'll hit that box. Maybe you'll play that strategy.
Well, you could, but listen, one thing that Kevin Harvick does have is a lot of experience at the front of the field today on all of these restarts. He has won both stages. He's led over 80 laps. He's not been out of the top 7. So, you know, when we talk about these restarts, Dale, you've always told me when it comes to plate racing or anything like this, running in that position helps you later in the race. This has got to help Kevin Harvick, right? He's been up here all night. Marty.
Hey, Steve, there has been chat about what the bottom could potentially do, but that was for information only, Rodney Childers said. And it's not like the old way. If you choose, you could choose who your pusher is. Obviously, you can't do that with everybody in the field choosing. Here they come. We'll see what happens.
Coming up as they cross the line, it'll be 5 laps to go. Nope, they're not going to go this time.
Hey guys,
2 to go.
How about back there in 5th place? Bubba Wallace. Remember, he won a truck race here a few years ago. Sitting there in 5th place, we've seen, you know, with being able to choose what lane you want to start in, could he make something happen here late in this race?
Yes, he could.
He's going to try. I'll tell you that.
And I think that's, you know, that's the value in the choose cone, is the opportunity for guys like him to put themselves in the lines that they want to be in late in these races when they're having this great run. You know, these smaller teams get a great run going late in the race, and they get stuck in the wrong line, the unpreferred restart line. Well, now they have the choice to put themselves where they want to be.
Let's go back and look once again. Little NBC it. Right here. You see there's no contact right there.
It's really close.
All right, maybe there was. I don't know. I mean, it really doesn't matter at this point.
Well, it does to Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch.
I promise you.
But you look at that left rear quarter panel, it doesn't look like it's scratched even.
Yeah, well, it was very light contact if there was. But
so we're hearing fluid in turn 4. They're going to bring the cars to a stop. They don't want to let any more laps go down. It'll be 4 to go when they cross the start-finish line. So now you see they're going to make sure to clean this off. Hopefully have 3 very competitive laps to end this race.
I'm not sure who's the favorite. I mean, Harvick has the best car, but he's lost the lead on a couple restarts. He was able to give it back from Kyle. He couldn't get it back from Chase.
Well, Steve, we're going to answer that question when we come to will it be the final restart? We'll be back with more from Michigan right after this break. Under a red flag condition here at Michigan International Speedway, and getting ready for a restart. Could be the final restart. There'll be 3, we hope, green flag laps that will be determining who wins this race. But let's flash back to 2018 in New Hampshire, and Kevin Harvick a part of maybe controversial little bump and run there?
Yeah, he was not afraid to use a bumper there in New Hampshire last year to get around the 18. Not sure whether he used it today, but he got close enough to upset that 18 car to be able to get him up out of the groove, off the throttle, and back around him for the position. Could have been the winning move, but now we're under red flag. So we wait for NASCAR to clean up their racetrack a little bit, and we're going to have another restart.
When is it okay to use the bumper on a guy? 5 laps to go?
Depends on what happened the lap before.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is no answer to that question because, you know, every driver has its own, you know, code that he drives by. And you know, when you think it's okay, the guy you did it to didn't. And it's just, it's you know, drivers are going to disagree about that. And everybody looks at that different amongst drivers. You know, there is no rule. You can or cannot. You just have to do it, you know, what you think's best at the time.
One thing I will notice if we go back to that shot of the 4 car's front bumper, this has nothing to do with the issue with Kyle Busch. But you talk about bumpers, look at this right here. This looks like he's running Talladega. Doesn't look like Michigan.
Yeah.
That front bumper where it says Mustang is, and this is a guy that's been on the front row a lot, but that's how hard they are pushing on these starts, Rick. It's all about trying to, you know, get momentum. Remember, these engines are restricted. They are down to 550 horsepower. They have a ton of drag. So while we get long into a run, they get out of the gas in the middle of the corner, go part throttle. But on that restart, it's wide open.
They're bringing the drivers some water if they want it, and we have the green flag that we can chat with Denny Hamlin. And so, Junior, can you dial him up on the radio?
Hey, Denny Hamlin, it's Dale Jr. You got us?
Yeah, 4.
Man, we've been watching this race all day and how this choose rule is working out. What do you think about it so far?
Well, it's been good to us. You know, I think that we've gained some spots when we lost track position there. I think with the field kind of being wide open there to 1 and 2, I don't think it's quite as a detriment until you get to the back straightaway. So, you know, I think it's been good. Obviously, it's a good track to start on. It's big, and you got time to kind of adjust the lineup.
All right, man. Well, you're right now sitting in 3rd, so what you going to do on this restart? Do you know yet, or do you kind of make that decision when you see what those guys in front of you to do?
I go as far forward as I can.
10-4, buddy. Well, appreciate you talking to us. Good luck the rest of the way, man.
I like that answer. Move as far forward. You know what? That math is pretty easy to figure out. And for those at home that see those 2 little black things on the roof above his head, that's a hatch that you can install. The 4 has one as well to allow the driver to exit the car through the roof. Seems like some sort of seal or something has come out of here. I don't think it's a big deal at all. It just looks a little funny. At this location, you would not, you don't want anything blowing around on the top of the car.
So they're coming up to make that decision. They will make their choice as to which lane they want to restart in right here, and then it will be a 3-lap shootout.
I feel like that little thing people send on social media of the guy eating the popcorn, all really excited to see what happens. That's how I am about this choose at the moment. I want to see who does what. I tell you what, I was concerned about it being complicated, but I like Denny's answer just because it was simple. Right? Like, let's not make it complicated. I'm the driver. I'm gonna go. If I can go forward, I'm going to go forward. It's a free spot, I guess, if you could clear him off turn 2. Mm-hmm. But, guys, the bottom is led off turn 2 times in a row. You're telling me you still start on the top.
I didn't say that. I think what Denny Hamlin said is right. You're going to run wide open through 1 and 2. So the shortest way around the racetrack may be the way to go. Now, I'm going to say this. If you don't clear the outside lane from the bottom, you are in trouble. So Kevin Harvick's going to pit the top because, you know, that's just the thing to do, right? But that bottom lane is what it's going to boil down to is can Bubba Wallace push Denny Hamlin good enough to get him in front of Kevin Harvick getting into turn 1.
What's going to be interesting, I think, is to see how that pays off for both those guys. Denny told us the truth. He moved up as far as he could, and that's going to put him on the front row of the inside. Bubba Wallace takes his 5th place and moves to the inside line to 3rd instead of staying in the outside line to line up 8th.
And, you know, who's the best pusher? That's what this boils down to. And what can Kevin Harvick do to make it easier for Chase Elliott to push? Same with Denny Hamlin, right? What can you do to make it so you do lock bumpers? Good hand signals when you get ready to launch. maybe drag that brake just a little bit to keep you locked up.
We're about to find out which line works. Again, it'll be Harvick on the outside. Denny Hamlin will be on the inside.
I won't lie. You see right here, once again, Harvick stayed the same. Hamlin moved up, some moved throughout the field. Christopher Bell back there gained a couple to go to the bottom. I have a little bit more concern about the bottom just because we haven't seen the 43 up here all day long getting the timing right. Harvick, Chase, Blaney have had more experience today in this race. We'll see if that pays off.
We've seen the guy on the outside in row 2 has been able to make the move after pushing the guy in front of him. What's going to happen this time? 3 laps to go at Michigan.
A little bit of wheel spin on that 11 car. You see him shaking it back and forth, trying to get traction.
Bubba Wallace is pushing Denny Hamlin. Chase Elliott's pushing Harvick.
Bubba to the middle. Bubba to the middle. Oh, that's an aggressive move and a good one.
3 wide for second. Here comes Bubba. But now the outside line is moving. Elliott being pushed by Blaney. And the freight train going by on the outside.
Look at Logano on the bottom. Man, you said it was a good move by Bubba. It's a good move to try to win the race. If he was able to clear him, it's going to hurt him in actually where he finished, but it was a race-winning move to try to make it
around goes the 3. The 6 also involved. Austin Dillon, the caution comes out. There'll be another restart.
You said it, Jeff. It might not help with a 43 finish, but I can root for a guy that's willing to drive it through 3 wide for the win.
I was sitting there thinking that he was going to have to push that 11, and that was the only thing he could do.
But 95.
But when he had an opportunity to go to the middle, he took it. That's what you have to do.
There's the damage to the 6. Ryan Newman, we heard Austin Dillon reference the 95. I don't know if Christopher Bell was around him at the time. Austin Dillon was running in the 10th position. And so it looks like this one's going to end in overtime.
Let's take a look and see if we can tell what happened. Here we are right in front of us. I think that the 3, he's wrecking loose. He's trying to get control of his car. Oh, hard contact with Michael McDowell there. But he's trying to get control of his car. And 95's got to go. It's like, I can't lift anymore. Send him up out of the racetrack in that speedy drive.
Tough ending for Austin Dillon. Ryan Newman there.
Well, it gets into him.
The 95 got into him first.
Yeah.
And got him loose.
He didn't hit him. It was kind of similar to the 4 and the 18. Got up to that quarter panel and got him loose. Let's watch on the roof of Newman's car. This will be a great shot.
So yeah, see right there was a little bit of contact, and then that got him loose, and just nowhere for 6 car to go. Ryan Newman. That's so frustrating late in the race.
And so the caution has come out once again. That is caution number 9 from here at Michigan. You see the 3 to the attention of the crew. We'll see if they can patch it up enough for him to get out there and finish this race. Again, it's going to be a 2-lap shootout. It will be overtime here at Michigan. And we have seen it's been quite the battle when you talk about the restarts. And that was one of the keys to winning this race, is having a good restart. The choice of inside or outside lane, and then who's going to be pushing you. Steve, are you trying to give your driver advice on this choice?
Well, I basically would say I would make sure my driver knows that the front row is the ultimate goal. So if I'm 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, if I can line up on the inside of the front row, even if we may not win the race, give ourselves a chance. And I think that's what it would do. In the end, though, Dale Jr. always says, take every run you get and see where it leads. We saw Bubba Wallace do that on the last restart. It didn't work out, but I like the courage to drive in 3 wide, and I'm not sure they're done with those types of moves.
Yeah, I think it just matters who's behind you and what they're going to do. You saw it. Bubba Wallace went to the middle and didn't choose to push the 11 car, Denny Hamlin. Well, if you're on that front row, you really need to have confidence in that guy behind you that he will commit to pushing you down into turn 1, at least into turn 1, to have a shot at getting that lead.
Yeah, and Chase Elliott, the last time he went with Kevin Harvick, went in that outside lane trying to push Kevin Harvick. I think this time maybe go to the bottom. We saw him get the lead earlier in the race by going on the bottom. That's what I would like to see him do, is go to that front row and try to make something happen. Kelly, you with our team?
Let's see what his crew chief Alan Gustafson says, because you told me earlier it was going to be up to Chase. We saw him take the lead from the inside lane. Last time he hung up in the outside. What do you want to see on what could be this final restart?
Well, I mean, ultimately, it's going to be up to him. I think he knows what he needs. Yeah, it's going to be all about the push, getting down there to turn 1. Wish we had a little more speed in our Napa Chevy, but we've done good with what we've got. So we'll see. We'll see if we can get the lead here. Or if not, maybe we can, if we don't take the bottom, we can try to get him too wide here off of 2. So we'll see.
We revisited all those runner-up finishes that he started his career with. How much redemption would a win give you here today?
Yeah, I mean, a win would be great. We need it. We've been struggling a little bit and certainly need the bonus points and need the points in general. So proud of the guys. Really good pit stops. Really good fight today. So, yeah, we'll see if we can finish it off here.
AJ, thanks.
So, let me ask you guys, if the 9-car Chase decides to follow the 4, choose the outside line, what does he really have a chance at passing the 4-car as strong as it's been all day long? Is his only opportunity to win the race to line up on that inside line, and is that what he should choose to do every time? Like you say, Steve, you want me to take every runs I get? You want me to help my teammates all day long, but when it comes down to the last lap, you want me to go and try to get that win? Getting the win is what he needs to try to do. Is that inside line is his only option?
If I'm Alan Gustafson right now, I'm letting Chase know that I am okay with the gamble. Because I think the inside line is the gamble. It may cost him a top 5. I'm just letting him know that our goal today is not a good run. Our goal today is to win the race. And if you feel that's it, I'm not going to tell him what the right choice is. I just want him to know, as my teammate in this battle, buddy, if you think the bottom is the best chance to go to victory lane, then you take it. If it doesn't work out, we're arm in arm regardless. We'll try again tomorrow.
The only way he wins from behind Kevin Harvick in row 2 is we've seen Kevin Harvick push somebody into turn 1 and then jump on the outside of him and put that guy in the middle. If he thinks he can do that, then pick the outside. Although, if you don't think you can make that happen, then you have to go to the bottom and hope the guy behind you pushes you and clears Kevin Harvick. And remember, this does not mean this is going to be the last caution. He could push you, and a caution happen behind, and the push gets you in front of Kevin Harvick. Now you're leading the race. I think at this late in the race, you just got to go try to get the lead, even if it means if it doesn't work out, you have a bad finish. I don't care about that. Go take a chance to win this race.
Okay, so flip it. We're talking about winning a race. Let's look at the playoffs. Eric Jones is 17th. He's currently running 10th on the racetrack. This is why I bring it up. Dale Jr., different conversation. I'm telling Eric Jones right now, buddy, let's not take the bottom. Let's take the top, and if a couple get by us, that's fine. Just go find me a top 10 finish, and let's try to take some points out of here, right? That's why this choose option is so different, because it's different for if you're in the playoffs and if you're not.
Yeah, I think if you're Eric Jones, the only way you're taking the bottom is if no one else does. At this point, you go.
It'd have to be a lot.
Yeah, you go from 10th all the way to front row, but we'll see what they do.
Everybody's in a different situation. Let's see what Chase Elliott does. We know what Kevin Harvick's going to do.
He's showing his hand early. He'll run up high. So does Chase. So that means Brad Keselowski with the opportunity. He'll take that front row, and potentially someone from Michigan could win this race.
So Chase thinks that he can, obviously still win this race, but he's going to try to do it from the outside while he pushes Kevin Harvick down the front straightaway.
The only way Chase Elliott wins this race, unless something unusual happens, is to be a great pusher right here, right? He cannot let the 2-car get in front of Kevin Harvick and now run in 3rd or 4th. So Chase Elliott's main goal, first of all, is to get Kevin Harvick ahead of that 2-car and then try to jump the outside and get him too wide.
Restart ago, I was concerned about the organization on the bottom. The front 2, I feel very good about. Brad and Denny accelerating out of the box. 43 proved me wrong. He got a great run, such a good run. He got the 3 wide. Can the bottom stay organized enough? Now, Denny, he's in a tough spot. I don't see how Denny from the 2nd row, but hey, what'd he say? He's sticking to his word. I'm moving forward every time.
Well, again, you don't know what's going to happen in front. Maybe the 2 and the 4 get together, and there you are. You have the best shot to take advantage of it.
It's overtime. We might not, we might get another shot. Who knows? The caution comes out off turn 2. Denny might be ahead because of it, right, Rick? I mean, you just never know where the field's going to be set.
That's what I love about racing. You never know. All right, lights are off on the pace car. As quickly as I say that, he makes the hard left turn. It's overtime, presented by Credit One Bank. You see the hand going for Brad Keselowski, hoping that Denny Hamlin will get going and give him a shove.
Really, nobody's locked up on the bumpers of those front two.
Harvick side-drafted that 2-car, keep him slowed down. Keselowski trying to take the shortest way around there. Harvick's in the best shot right now. Best position for Harvick.
Bubba following back, and here comes Harvick surging out. But then the side draft by Brad Keselowski pulls him back as they go into 3 side by side for the lead. Harvick's going to get a shove from the 9 of Chase Elliott.
Look at Truex on the outside, 3 wide.
Can he make it work? Coming back up to the white flag. Harvick surging ahead.
Truex with a big run down the front straightaway on Brad Keselowski.
Is Brad going to go up? Nope, he doesn't have to. That's a great move by Truex.
Final lap. Jockeying for positions. 4, 5, 6. Harvick trying to hold off Brad Keselowski. Can Keselowski be the first ever Michigan-born driver to win here at Michigan? He won a week ago at New Hampshire. His 3rd win of the season. Now doing everything he can to catch up to the 4 of Harvick. Harvick has been dominant 2 of the last 3 races. He's going to make it 3 out of 4. Harvick's going to win again at Michigan.
And that'll do it. Good job, boys. Thank you. What a car.
Won stage 1, won stage 2, and won the race.
Chase Elliott
Good job on pit road,
decided that outside line on that restart, finishes 7th. Learned something today, might make a different choice tomorrow.
How about the company that Kevin Harvick has just joined? With that win, 54 wins. He is now tied with Lee Petty for 11th all-time winner, winningest driver in NASCAR.
Kevin Harvick is only getting better with time. He just continues to improve. He and Rodney Childers, Steve, since they've paired up, they have been unbelievably good.
We're covering this race from Charlotte. I never forget, we came here for a test all the way back in 2013, and they unloaded, right, Junior? And our eyes were opened quickly. I know that a different car, different rules, didn't matter. They were so fast.
The surprising question that's always been around Kevin, at least over the past 3-4 years, has been, well, you know what, you're 44 years old now. Are you thinking about retirement? And he keeps saying over and over and over, not even a thought. Because if I can go out there and be competitive and do what he's doing, he's winning races. This is his 5th win of the season already. We're still 5 races away from the playoffs, looking for another championship. This checkered flag moment is brought to you by Advance Auto Parts, and it was a great restart. The side-by-side battle, and ultimately the strength of his Ford. Kevin Harvick goes by, gets the win here at Michigan. Kevin Harvick just grabbed the checkered flag, and his celebration starting once again. 5 wins already in 2020 for Kevin Harvick. What that does for him is a lot of playoff points, and we talked about how those are important, getting to that final round of the playoffs to be a part of the championship. For last week we talked about who's going to join Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, because those two have really shown that they're the best of the field right now. And then Brad Keselowski shows up last weekend, gets his 3rd win. But ultimately, in the end, it has come down once again to Harvick and Hamlin, and this time it was Harvick that was the best at Michigan, and he takes Ford to victory again at Michigan. Part of that Heritage Trophy. Again, a doubleheader. If Ford can win again tomorrow, they will lock up the Heritage Trophy. If it's split between manufacturers, they'll go to the top 10 as far as the points that they have been able to gain. And all smiles out of Happy Harvick as he puts his mask on, and he'll head out and chat with Marty.
Kevin Harvick soaking this one in a little bit and had the opportunity to run down pit road, say hi to the crew and chat with his guys real quick, and then got the checkered flag. But he loves racing in Michigan and collects another win here in the Irish Hills. And a little Busch beer to celebrate. Why not? Get over here and chat with Kevin. Wait, man, you made it look easy, but I know those last few restarts were not easy, Kevin. How much the process of deciding what lane to go in and all of that, and how tough were those restarts to win it?
Well, I kind of showed my hand there a little bit early when I passed the 9 on the outside, and I knew that's what I didn't need to happen to us. So a lot of restarts, you're relying on a push. The 9 was a good pusher. I just had to keep him from going by us. Just got to thank Busch Light Apple, everybody from Hunt Brothers and Mobile and Jimmy John's, Haas Automation, Ford. I know they love to win at Michigan, Roush Yates, and everybody at Stewart Haas Racing for everything that they do. This is just was an awesome car to drive today.
When you have a dominant car like this and you have a race tomorrow in that car, I mean, is the confidence immediate, Kevin, saying, hey, we can go repeat this tomorrow?
Well, I think that the confidence is high when we come to Michigan anyway. It's a racetrack that's been really good to us, and for whatever reason just fits our style of cars, everything that we do with our race cars at Stewart Haas Racing. Rodney and these guys have given me great race cars at Michigan every time we've come. So just a really, really fast race car today.
I got to ask you, you said on the radio you thought you might have made contact with the 18.
It was close.
But it didn't look like it in the replay. It looked like it was very close for the contact and battling for the lead.
Yeah, I knew I needed to be right there, and I couldn't tell if I touched him, but I knew that I wanted that side draft right there. Yeah, I didn't touch him. Well, that makes me feel better because, I knew we had a fast enough car to just pass him, but I knew that I needed to take the opportunity that I had, and I needed to side draft right there. So that video makes me feel better.
Kevin, are you going to make sure Rodney finds a spot for this car in the playoffs? It was brand new at Indy. It wins there, and it comes here and wins again and gets to race tomorrow.
Yeah, I can't say enough about our whole organization. Our 4 guys do a wonderful job of the details on our race car, but since we've come back from COVID and the work that these guys and gals are putting in at the race shop and the organization, they've had a lot of really good training from Tony Stewart in awkward situations of how to prepare for things. So thanks, Smoke. I want to say hi to my wife and kids at home. I thought about Keelan all day. I keep telling him to be smoother on his wheel, and I'm like, quit jerking the wheel. We got to be smooth here. So just a lot of fun racing here today.
Kevin certainly wishing Keelan was here today, because last year he got a ride to victory lane from the front stretch with his dad after he won here at Michigan. Kevin Harvick in victory lane once again here in the Irish Hills.
It was a boys' summer last year for Keelan and Kevin. As we look at the playoff standings, after 21 races, now just 5 races until the playoffs start. 2 drivers with 5 wins. It's Kevin Harvick and Denny Hamlin. Brad Keselowski 3, Joey Logano the only other multiple wins driver this season. But look at Eric Jones, William Byron, 16 points separating those 2 for that final spot in the playoffs. Kyle Busch, still named not in yellow, hasn't won this year, finished 5th, and just moments ago Kelly spoke with him.
A top 5 finish today for Kyle Busch. And Kyle, I'm going to take you back towards the end of the race there. Really close racing between you and Kevin Harvick. It was hard for us to tell whether or not there was actually contact. Did you feel anything?
I mean, I just didn't get loose and turn up to the wall by myself, so I don't know whether he hit me or it was just air, but it was close enough that it disturbed my car, obviously, and made me have to get out of it real bad and chase it real bad. But thankfully, or keep it out of the fence and at least try to salvage something out of it. That's a pretty good run for us there. I felt like we had a fast car, but it was the best of the rest. The 4 car was lights out. He deserved to win the race anyways, but it was a race for second today overall. And proud of the M&M's Fudge Brownie guys. I mean, they did a good job. We've been fighting hard all year, and this was certainly an improvement. We've been close for good finishes. We've been running well enough for good finishes. We just aren't getting them. So today was another indication of that. We should have finished second, I guess, maybe 1, but top 5 it is. So thanks to Interstate Batteries, Toyota Camry, and Rowdy Energy, we'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, how eager are you to get back, knowing that the car from the get-go, it sounded like, was an improvement?
Yeah, the car was pretty good right off the bat. There's still some things that we could tweak on it, hopefully. I'm scared to mess with it to try to make it better. It was just really, really hard to deal with in traffic. Anytime there was anybody in front of me, I had to be away from them, whether lower or higher. It just would not follow. It would not track at all the car in front of me. So that's kind of been our MO, actually, but overall, just work on that.
Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate it.
And so a 5th place finish for Kyle Busch. As he mentioned, Kevin Harvick led a race high 92 laps. So he mentioned Kevin Harvick was the one to beat. He was dominant. He was able to regain the lead after he had lost it on a restart. But in the end, it was another great restart that got him to the front, Steve.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick versus the field. We saw different players. Blaney at one time, Keselowski, Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch. Regardless, Kevin Harvick continued to be the best of the group. We know now, though, everybody gets to work on their cars this evening and come back and try it again tomorrow. The choose cone crazy, the restart's crazy. Some winners, some losers. I felt awful for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Ran in the top 15 all day, restarted 10th, a flat left rear tire, ends up 32nd.
Yeah, just good racing all day long, and I'm really curious who can make their car better. Can somebody find a way to step up and have the speed that this 4 car has? Kyle Busch just said it. This was a 1-car race. He had everybody beaten. And also, I'm curious, after watching these choose restarts, will people try something different tomorrow? You know, Chase Elliott comes to mind. He took the lead earlier in the race from the bottom and then picked the top behind Kevin Harvick 2 times in a row. I wonder if somebody watched that and will make a different decision if they get in that situation tomorrow.
Yeah, just such a great, exciting race today. This track's really kind of coming into its own after a repave many years ago. There was a little PJ1 up there in the high side for those guys to use if they wanted to go up there and use it. But we really saw a lot of great racing, a lot of passing. Eric Jones, too. Talk about the guys around the bubble and how interesting that battle is. He did a good job through all of the stages to gain a few points where those other guys around him in the points did not. And he finished better than Byron and Jimmy Johnson in the race itself. So it'll be interesting to see tomorrow how those guys do if they can continue that bubble battle on into the next race.
Crews will go to work this evening and adjust whatever they can on the cars to make them a little bit better. But you have to be better than Harvick, and he has been great. August 2018, Victory Lane. Keelan waves the checkered flag. August 2019, he wins again. This time Keelan gets to go for a ride to Victory Lane with him. And then August 2020, he does it again. Coming up next, NASCAR America post-race show. Krista, DJ, and Brad Doherty.
Welcome to the NASCAR America post-race show. Racing at Michigan, the first of a doubleheader weekend for the Cup Series. We used to always say, watch out for Kevin Harvick at Phoenix. Yeah, that's still the case, but now it's definitely watch out for Kevin Harvick when you race at Michigan. His 4th win at Michigan, 3rd straight in the month of August. Brad Doherty and Dale Jarrett in our NASCAR and NBC studios in Charlotte, North Carolina. And Brad, we knew that Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick were going to be players, but in those closing laps, we saw a lot of different guys kind of work their way into the mix. End of the day, it's Kevin Harvick who dominates again.
Yeah, you're right, Krista. I mean, we saw Brad Keselowski. Obviously, the cream started to rise to the top. He got into the mix. Denny Hamlin was in the mix for a while there. Ryan Blaney had an opportunity. We saw great finishes by Eric Jones and Bubba Wallace. But at the end of the day, we see Kevin Harvick, and DJ and I were talking earlier. I mean, he is just absolutely the smartest race car driver in the lot. He does everything in a calculated manner, and he races so smart throughout the stages, and then gets to the end of the day, he protects his position, he takes the air off someone else in order to give himself an opportunity to advance his race car. This race team is dynamic, as we all know, and that's 4 out of 6 for Stewart-Haas race cars. Really, really strong.
Yeah, Brad, this is kind of what happens whenever you put
one of the best all-time drivers in this sport in really good equipment. And his crew chief, Rodney Childers, understands exactly what his driver's looking for in the car, and he plays it. He's so much to me, and this is really old school, but so much like David Pearson in so many different ways, being so talented behind the wheel, but he thinks his way through all of this too. He doesn't let these other drivers know exactly what he has. He's very calculating in his moves and making sure that he has something left at the end for these restarts and everything that goes on. So this is just a team that really is on top of their game right now. Doug Yates providing all of the Fords great horsepower, and when you can trim the cars out down the straightaways and utilize that horsepower the way that they can, but still be able to race really hard, that's a real advantage that you have. Obviously, Denny Hamlin's having a great year also. Just couldn't get the right push there at the end, but a lot of drivers were putting themselves in a position to try to go win this race and try to steal it from Kevin Harvick because he dominated it all day long.
Well, you guys both used the word calculating to describe Kevin Harvick. So we said this was his 5th win of the season, but this is where he ranks all time with today's win, 54 on his career, tying Lee Petty for 11th on the list. I mean, that is just stellar. And as Kevin has talked about, he feels like there's no point in slowing down. As he ages, he just gets better. We mentioned some of the other names, drivers to sort of factor in with Kevin Harvick today. No question, Brad Keselowski was one of those trying to win for the first time at his home track. He spoke with Kelly Stavist.
Another runner-up finish in Michigan for the Michigan native, Brad Keselowski. Brad, what was that final restart like? Where was your best opportunity to get better of the 4?
Yeah, he was just so fast. He could run fast, you know, in the corners. He could run fast, Kelly, down the straights, and just I couldn't really do anything with him. So it was a heck of a battle. You know, he raced really hard and raced really good, and you know, we gave him all we have at the Discount Tire Ford, but just not quite enough.
What will the communication be like with your crew chief tonight? What can you guys do to be just a little bit better tomorrow?
I got a couple small ideas, but you know, Kevin's just super fast on the straightaways, but doesn't give up really anything in the corners. So we got some work to do.
All right, thanks, Brad.
Thank you.
So what I notice here is we heard just Brad Keselowski say it there, and then we heard Kyle Busch. They're all basically, Brad, in awe of what Kevin Harvick is doing out there. I mean, this was the driver who finished 2nd today, and he obviously has glowing words for the race winner.
Yeah, I can understand just watching his performance throughout the day. And by the way, that's Brad Keselowski's 16th top 10 finish in 21 races. So he's been very good as well. And you heard him say it twice there, talking about Kevin Harvick being able to maintain speed throughout the corners. You know, it's almost like he's racing a short track. You know, he just carries so much momentum through the corner. Car has such a great platform. I don't know what they're doing over there, but we all would love to find out. They are absolutely excellent in every facet of the day. And like we said earlier, they got a really smart guy holding that wheel. You heard him talking about being real smooth in his interview. These guys got to figure it out, or Kevin Harvick's going to sweep the weekend.
Yeah, you know, that was an interesting interview there because drivers really hate to give other drivers compliments, but that was as close as Brad could come of being nice in that situation when you get outrun, and especially the way that it's been that is on these type of racetracks that Kevin Harvick and this race team they're not unbeatable, but they do the things right, and they've got their car exactly where their driver wants it to be. So what happens? You said we could work on these cars tonight and tomorrow morning, getting them ready for tomorrow's race. So one team and one driver won't be talking about anything they need to do different to their car tomorrow. It's up to the rest of them to try to figure out something. What can you do? And whenever I can remember situations like that, when you start chasing someone else, sometimes you might find a little bit, but a lot of times you mess it up in trying to do that. So they're really in the heads of all of these other drivers and teams right now.
Well, we're not going to give the weekend to Kevin Harvick yet, because you did hear Brad Keselowski say they've got some small ideas. So, yeah, the brains will go to work tonight. When we come back, we'll hear from some more drivers and what they anticipate for tomorrow. If you liked what you saw from Michigan today, well, guess what? They're going to do it again tomorrow. Here's the lineup. Cup Series Countdown to Green. Getting things underway at 4 p.m. Eastern. Yes, a doubleheader weekend at Michigan. We are in the NASCAR America post-race show, and here's something you don't normally see us talk about in a post-race show. That would be the lineup for tomorrow's race, a starting grid. And 1 through 20 was set by inversion. So Chris Buescher with the best 20th place finish you'll ever see, as he's going to lead the field to green tomorrow. William Byron and Christopher Bell making out row 4.
Yeah, as you take a look right here, this is where the Hornets' nest will be tomorrow. The guys behind them are really, really fast and going to want to get through this group, but there's some fast race cars in here with Jimmy Johnson, Kurt Busch. It's going to be fun to watch to see if these guys can move through from behind them and create some havoc, which will be in the Hornets' nest.
So now we see rows 9 and 10 are the drivers that finished first through fourth in this. So as Brad pointed out, these guys are really, really fast. Their cars drive good out front. What do they do when they start back here in these rows and try to make their way back to the front?
Okay, if you haven't seen your favorite driver yet, possibly you'll see him here in these closing pages of our starting grid. Austin Dillon and Ryan Newman among this mix. They were involved in a wreck today. Again, a second race tomorrow as you see the drivers who will round out the field. What a tough day for John Hunter Nemechek. He'll start in row 18 tomorrow, hoping for a much better day. It was a good day for Penske Racing. Ryan Blaney finishing 4th. He talked with Marty Snyder after the race.
Winds up being a 4th place finish for Ryan Blaney, who pitted at lap 132. And, man, if you'd have had more green flag laps, could the tires have taken a bit more of an effect, Ryan, coming up to the field?
I would like to see it play out. You know, we got to 3rd or 4th there, and then we got to 3rd. And, man, I really didn't want to see that caution because I thought we had a decent run going. And, well, I'd just like to see what would have happened, you know, in the restarts that, you know, we got in the right lane on a few of them. Kind of the choose rule was pretty unique today. But yeah, I would have liked to have more green flag laps, not just caution. And it's hard to build a run or momentum. It's all dependent on kind of your half a lap get up to speed. So, yeah. But overall, not a bad day for our Menards. Knopf Ford Mustang, really fast, led some laps, but the 4 was super fast. But we'll work on it tonight and have another shot at it tomorrow.
So how did the choose rule play out in your world? I mean, was it, you know, as easy as it might have seemed or tougher than you might have thought? What'd you learn today you'll take to tomorrow?
Yeah, I think the only toughest thing is when it's gotten dark like this, seeing the thing.
Yeah, a lot of drivers talked about that today. Yeah.
Hopefully you don't mess up and run over it. And that part, you know, was a little bit tough, but I thought it was neat. You know, it was unique to see what options, you know, were which. You saw a lot of people. I think when the 9 got the lead, he was 5th, and he chose and restarted 2nd. And I was pretty surprised that none of them guys took the bottom, but that's just the mix-up you get. So I think it you know, is a good opportunity for a lot of people, and we used it a lot when we had to come back up through the field on them tires, and it benefited us. So I thought it was good. I think it's good. I'm happy they decided to implement it for here and for the rest of the year.
Nice top 5 run for Ryan Blaney today here at Michigan.
Was a heck of a comeback for Martin Truex Jr. and this 19 team after that contact early in the flat tire set you guys back down a lap. What do you make of the effort of this team to come away with a top 3 finish?
Yeah, just proud of the guys, you know, for sticking with it. I obviously made a bonehead move there early on, and it was weird. Like, I barely felt like I rubbed the 8 car there and flattened both of our tires. So it was definitely an odd situation. I feel bad, obviously, for screwing up his day because he got a lap down as well. But all in all, you know, special auto owners Camry today with, you know, 1,900 names on the hood. They're such great partners of ours. I really wanted to give them a strong run here at their home track, and we had a you know, top 3 or 4 car all day. I felt like at one point we were really fast and just you know, fought track position obviously for coming from the back, and then those restarts at the end. You always hope you pick the right lane, and a few times we had the right one and a few times we didn't, but all in all, just a solid day.
Given how long it took you to really get back up into contention, did you have enough time to really figure out what you'll need to fight for the win moving to tomorrow? Yeah,
I mean, I feel really good about our car. I think we can do a few things to make it better, but you know, honestly, it's really fast. If we could get a little bit faster in the straightaways without slowing the corners down, they'll have to watch out for us tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you, Martin.
Thanks.
9th for Bubba Wallace today, and I tell you what, on a couple of those final restarts, I thought it might be a potential win. I mean, were you thinking when you had that shot on the 2nd row, hey, we might be able to pull this thing off, because you made a bold move to the middle?
Yeah, can't count your eggs before they hatch. But a solid day for us in our Victory Junction Chevrolet. Appreciate everybody back at the shop. I know this whole COVID-19 deal has been tough. I haven't been able to go to the shop and show my appreciation and how much they really work and make our cars better week in and week out. So it's been fun. You know, we're in the middle of silly season right now, so my mind is there. It's here. So to come out with a solid top 10 finish for us is positive. We got a lot of work to do. I was not happy with the car, but I think that's the racer mentality. I don't know if Harvick's happy about his car either. So we always strive to be better, but all in all, a solid day. The choose rule. Good job, NASCAR. That was fun. That was cool. It brought me back to the shootout days. I didn't piss as many people off as I did at the shootout as today, so it was all good.
Yeah, I remember some of those nights at the shootout, but we won't talk about that. Hey, but when these runs are great, right? Are they even better when you know, hey, I get to turn around and do this in less than 24 hours tomorrow?
Absolutely. The race distance is a lot of fun. It's something to look at too, for sure. But man, Marty, say a prayer for us. Everybody say a prayer for us. There's a big deal on the line right now, and this could only help so much. I've yet to check my phone to see the status of it, but this will send us over the top if we can get it done. So it's been a lot of hard work off the racetrack for my team, everybody involved, to make things better, and that's what we're trying to do. So putting solid runs together, having awesome restarts all night, this is only going to help the effort. So I'm definitely smiling, so it's a good deal.
A little teaser and a cliffhanger from Bubba Wallace, who winds up with a top 10 but had a terrific run all day long. See you, brother. Thank you, man.
Okay, so in that interview, I'd love for you guys to follow up, but it felt, Brad, like it was a little cryptic there. Like Marty said, a little bit of a cliffhanger from Bubba Wallace.
Yeah, he threw a little something out there, and maybe there's some good news coming for that organization that'll possibly keep Bubba Wallace there. I'm just speculating a little bit, but he intimated that, you know, he's really proud of his guys working hard back at the shop. They need to do a little bit better, and maybe there's something on the way to help them do a little bit better. We'll see. It's interesting.
Yeah, kind of interesting to hear all of these guys talk about the choose rule. They seem to really like this. I wasn't sure how it was going to go over, although many of the drivers have been highly in favor of this. Being old school, I can't say that it's one of my favorite things, but it certainly made things very interesting with all the restarts. And so to get each driver's take on it was interesting to hear that. Bubba is always interesting to listen to, and I love this young man. And he showed today, once again, that without having the very best car, that he can put himself in the mix, and he's willing to take chances when he gets in that position. And I love to see that. I just want to see him get that backing, get in that position. If it's at Richard Petty Motorsports, which I really hope that it is, and they get good sponsorship and can make all of this happen there, and they become a competitive driver and team week in and week out. It's only going to be good for Bubba, who's good for our sport. So looking forward to seeing exactly what's going to happen there. But everybody's talking about what they can do to make a little bit of a change to figure out how to beat Kevin Harvick tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, that's the question I got for you, DJ. You heard Brad Keselowski and we heard Kyle Busch both say the 4 car is just so much better. If you're that guy, which you've been that guy, what are you doing tonight? How are you going to make your car better to compete when that's your mindset?
Yeah, well, obviously, we've heard everybody talk about down the straightaway, and Martin Truex Jr. was another one that said, if I can get a little more down the straight, well, there's only one way to do that, and that's to change the engine. But if you go through the corner faster, you can go down the straightaway faster, too. And that's what Kevin Harvick has proven to everybody. It looks like it's just complete engine, but all of those Fords have the same engines out of Doug Yates' engine shop. So you know they can do that, but you got to go figure out something. What can I do? And you got to be willing to make a change. And this is a racetrack you can do that a small adjustment can make a lot of speed.
And there we see the car of Kyle Busch. That's my thought. If leading into tomorrow's race, if you thought Kyle Busch was hungry before, after maybe a little of the air taken off his car today by the race winner, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch is going to come back on a mission tomorrow. You also heard Martin Truex say they'll have to watch out for us tomorrow. So plenty of storylines heading into the second race on the weekend at Michigan. That takes place beginning at 4 p.m. Eastern with Countdown to Green. Brad, Dale, and I will be back for that. Coming up next, the Dale Jr. Download, recorded before this race, but with today's race-winning crew chief, Rodney Childers, right now.